Hello, hello. Hey, Galaxy Inferno. Hello first. Okay, so today is going to be working on content, and I did something that I thought was kind of fun yesterday. I played the game. And I gotta say, I think these new perks are working pretty well, but I think we'll need to add a lot of them. So I played this yesterday, and one of the problems is that it's still using all the tutorial cheats, essentially. So I gotta take those out. But as far as perks go, let me look at this. Yeah, here. So here are normal perks. Yeah, all right, here's one of the new ones. So like enemy stat multiplier, enemy power and health minus 13%. If we make enough of these, I think we can kind of change the rules of the game a bit and yeah, just make runs more fun. Yeah, this thing too, like battle perk cost. Cost of battle perks is reduced by 16. This is a bit much. I don't know why those numbers are so high. Because now it costs 0, and then 0, and then 0, and then 4. Back on my computer so I can rush to the first achievement again. Also, I'm back to procrastinating on my work to watch you. Oops. You can do both. Put one eye on your work and the other eye on the stream. Easy peasy. Battle perk cost. Okay, so what are these numbers? I must not have balanced this. No, I did kind of try to balance it. Why? Why did I not think about this too much? I guess, I don't know. Huh. Okay, well, 3 should be the baseline, but then maybe this should be divided by 2. So if you have 30 perks, it'll be 18. That may not be enough. Maybe like times 2 divided by 3. So it's 2/3 of whatever number plus 3. So if you're at 30 now, it'll be 23. Let's try it. I guess I'm only nerfing it by 33%. Hey, Coldfire. Guess it would get lame a bit quick. Well, remember, it's taking the progression, like 5, 10, 15, 20, and it's doing minus whatever it was, I don't remember the number, 13 or something for each one of them. I think it was 16. Yeah, so 5 minus 16 is gonna end up being 0, then 0, then 0, then it'll be the same progression that we normally had. So at this point, it's gonna feel like it was kind of the same, and it shouldn't be that powerful to begin with. So instead of being able to subtract 16 when you haven't bought a single perk, it probably would only subtract like 4 or something. What's the plan for today? I always try to keep the today command updated. That's the one thing I try to do every single morning. And I guess afternoon. So do take a look at that if you're ever curious. But hey, Becca. Alright, so nerf battle perk cost was a little bit too powerful. I brought its power down by, I think 33%? Yeah, 33%. Okay, now we gotta go undo the tutorial things because they're basically cheats. Where are they? Indeed here. All right, so you start with more customers, you start with more adventurers, you start with the wrong perk costs, and you're offered perks for only buildings you have. So higher customers than normal, more adventurers. Yes, more adventurers, more customers. Incorrect perk costs. And you can only be offered perks for buildings you have. And that's this. Oh, I guess we can type that in. If we get rid of this, then we need to fix a bug. I think it's if we keep this. Can we get the meta perk that Sludge only upgrades adventures we already have? Sorry if this was discussed previously. I'm hoping that changes to the game make it so that people don't want that. Yeah. Alternatively, it could be a perk that's given to you. The thing that's really risky about that is if you're only offered upgrades for adventures you already have, you'll probably only ever get 1 adventurer and just make them like super powerful. Or 2 adventurers and make them both super powerful. And to give you an idea for what that would look like, where is this? Battle perk generator. Here it is. Adventurer class. All right, so we randomly sample the lists of things. What we're going to do here is we're going to do adventurer classes equals, let's do that. Rogue, rogue, rogue. Now delete this. Okay, so this is going to simulate what this would be like. And I think it's going to be stupidly powerful. And maybe we allow that to happen for like a run every once in a while, but we probably shouldn't have it be pretty common. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to add a bunch of items for now to just simulate that we've been playing for a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let's just give ourselves some crops. There. Okay. So now we'll harvest these. And now we need the rogue. If we don't already have the rogue, we don't. So let's hire the rogue. And now every battle perk is just going to be for the rogue. So we're going to just pick the best one out of all of these. That's really good. That's really good. Let's go with this one. And this one. And let's get like one more. All right. Now let's see what the rogue can do after just 6 upgrades. So I'm guessing they can take care of the volcano. Yes. And they probably can't beat the jungle yet. But I bet with like 2-3 more upgrades, they probably could. Oh, no, never mind. They actually can. Yeah. So, like, I gotta avoid that from happening. Or prevent that from happening. Okay, so let's go fix some of these things up. We're getting more customers than normal. Because what? That's what the base game did, and then the previous constraints would lower the amount that we had. So I just gotta go find those constraints. Look through these. Start with fewer adventurers. All right, let's go find that. Number of starting adventurers. Okay, so how do we want to do this? Because I think buying the first adventurer is probably the most important thing, and I don't want people to have to like wade through all of this stuff. But I guess we'd just be deleting this completely. Yeah, I guess we'd be deleting this completely. Because it, All right, well, then let's just delete it, I guess, right? Why would I keep it around? Hire adventurers at start of game. Num starting adventurers equals 1. Just delete that. Yeah, that's it. Okay, we're done. So now go delete this. Start with fewer adventurers. We're going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of this. And that should be every reference to it. Start with fewer. Is that what it's called? Yeah, start with fewer adventurers. Okay, it's gone. Why wasn't it in all difficulty data? Did I delete this stuff? No, I just changed the level that it was in. Okay, that's fine. All right, next up is offer town perks for unowned buildings. I don't think we'd ever put this back in the game. In real game, we might not get the rogue. Balancing is tough. Can we model this as an equation system? Well, so regardless of who you get first, you will only be offered battle perks for that adventurer. And once you start pumping enough like power and haste and skills and whatever else, pretty much every adventurer is really, really powerful. But even if not every single one was, we just need most of them to be, because then you would just hire a second adventurer, and now 50% of the perks will be for that one. And since you're given 3 at a time, it means that on average 1.5 perks will show, which, since you can't have a fractional number, means you're on average you're at least seeing 1. And then you just pick that one. But it is kind of interesting. It makes me wonder if you should be able to see the same adventurer multiple times in a perk, because that's what we just did right here. If we click battle perks, we could make this a reality where you can tweak whether or not this shows up. Like maybe we say something like your strongest adventurer has a higher chance of showing up in the battle perks. I don't know. Hey, Zaletics, looking for all the attention of the party? You know it. That's me, red shirt wearing. Hi, Katso. I put her little cat bed on the side of the table to see. Will she sit here? Will you? Because then you don't have to be on my lap. You can just watch. Yeah. Oh, no, you want to be on my lap. Okay, fine. Oh, okay. Oh, she's already on my arm. All right, well, that's going to make it hard to use a mouse. Silly human. Cat bed is nothing compared to a lap. That's right. It's not even a heated bed or anything. It's just a bed. You can get the cat bed. Saying me, the streamer? I'll stream for a cat bed? So should I ever keep this? Should I just delete this? I think it might be interesting to have. Let me think about this. I guess we could just bring it back if we ever want it. Yeah, I'll just mark this down in deleted code somewhere. Okay. Town perk choice generator. Let's go get that. Abby will switch with me. Imagine if she's just a great coder. Like, all right, so I'm gonna fix Adam's trash code today, and then just like hammers out a bunch of new lines. Fixes everything I've ever done. This guy's a moron, but he feeds me. Deleted code. Oh, it hurts. Come on, Abby. She's just licking the same spot over and over. Move your tongue. Move it somewhere else. Twist as trade-offs. Adding stats from the tavern. Granting perks from specializations. Let's put some constraints here. Constraints I didn't want anymore. E.g. this. What even is this? This one is can be offered town perks for buildings you don't own. Mostly just look through, where are those? Look through that commit to see a few that I got rid of after changing challenge mode. Can you see this? No, you can't see this. She's moving my right hand right now by licking it. You can only see a tiny bit of her right here. Is lotion bad for cats? Because I put lotion on my hands today, and I think she likes licking that off. Like, I don't want to just feed her lotion, obviously, but like, can cats eat lotion? Should not eat. Okay, stop it. Stop it. Dog likes to do that too. Yeah. I wonder if part of it is just there's some small scent to it. We got unscented lotion, but yeah, there's still a scent to it. And I wonder if she's like, oh, that means that the human is dirty. I need to clean human. I think it's the smell, yeah. Okay, so I guess we're deleting this. Well, that's too bad. Offer town perks for unowned buildings. We deleted from the generator. So this can show perk due to having building. Offer town perk. Wait, what? Required building ID has building. Okay, no, we're just deleting this, right? Yeah, we're deleting this. Ow, now she's like my other arm. Come on, just go to sleep. Go to sleep. Okay, let me just roll up my sleeve. Then you can't lick anything. How's that? Yeah, I fooled you, cat. You have a tiny brain, whereas I have a slightly larger brain. Okay, so more customers than normal, more adventurers than normal. Did we do both of those things? We did the more adventurers part. I guess I got to go back to here. No, it doesn't exist. Is it over here? Yeah. All right, start with your adventurers, this one, and then this. Increase town building and adventurer cost. I think I'm using this somewhere. I am. And it was in both of these, and I don't want that. I want it to just be there by default. And this perk can still, or this constraint can still exist. It just should probably increase it even further. Does Mrs. Adam watch the stream and judge your interactions with Abby? No, every once in a while I'll show her a clip. Like one time Abby went up and like sniffed the camera. I showed her that, but otherwise, no, she doesn't tend to watch. Hey, Flair. A stream? Wow. That's right, it's a stream. So I think having the right cost for all of these things is really important because I don't want people getting like 50 town perks per run. I want the choices to be somewhat interesting and to build up your run. And I think that kind of means that the first few need to cost enough. I'm not sure. Maybe this is a little too much. No, it's probably fine. But I guess people don't like this, right? People don't like the idea of getting battle perks for adventurers they don't have. So if adventurers cost a lot, then it feels like they're being punished. And to some extent, I want that to just be like, it's just part of challenge mode. I wonder if for the farming mode, we should just say adventurers are cheaper. Also, why did I capitalize out here? Nothing even uses this. Because I want people to be easy in challenge mode. All right, I'll write that down for balancing. The first couple of challenges should probably have cheaper adventurers. Maybe it's a player ability that does this rather than a constraint so that it can be baked into the challenge. Then again, we could probably add constraints after starting the match. No, but then they'd show up. If we added the constraint after starting the match, it would still show up in the tooltip for, what's it called? Challenge mode objective details. Yeah. Okay, so this constraint exists and nothing uses it. That's fine. And then the final thing we need to do is fewer customers. We'll probably keep the constraint around and just have it start with even fewer than you currently do. Maybe. I don't know how I feel about that. Cumulative customer increase per level, challenge mode, constrained, and challenge mode. So I want the, I don't know what we're going to do here. I guess we are going to delete this. Fine. Or wait, no, maybe this isn't a problem. No, maybe this isn't a problem. Okay, so where are we at now? We got rid of the building one. We got rid of the increased cost and it should be default now. This was just for showing something, so delete that. These are now gone. Yeah, we got rid of that. That's okay. I just renamed that thing. That's fine. Those are all deleted. Number of starting adventurers is 1. Okay, so now if I restart this, we'll have 1 adventurer. The costs of buildings and adventurers will increase. Town perks will be for buildings you don't have yet. We should be able to test all this incredibly quickly. Like if I click buy town perk, the odds of us seeing something new, yeah, like that, requires the fishing pond. So great. So that one's working. Now the cost of adventurers should go from 25 up. It does not. I don't know how that doesn't. Oh, because we don't have the constraint anymore. I wanted to make that the default. Whoops. Okay, where is that? There. No, that's not it. Cost more. Where's the, what's this called? Did I delete it? I couldn't have deleted it. Yeah, here it is. Oh, I see. Without the constraint. Okay, so without the constraint needs to be changed to these numbers. With the constraint needs to be made even more expensive. I don't know how much more expensive. And then what do we have? Base cost increase. But that's only if you have the constraint. So this just starts at 15. I guess let's just add these numbers now. I'm going to add 10. I don't know. It's just got to be some number that's larger than the current amount. And then here I'm going to do the same thing and just add maybe, I don't know. Yeah, let's just add 10 to everything. I'm not balancing these numbers right now. Okay, so now when I run, now the cost of everything should be higher than they were. You are just such a precious little cat, aren't you? All right, so the first one's going to cost 25. The next one's going to cost 50. Good. Building's going to cost 25. Next one's going to cost 50. Also good. Town perk starts at 15. Yep, this is good. This is what I want. Okay, so let's write down that we're done with that. Undo the tutorial changes. Finished, 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 and finished. This is, I guess I'll just write a minus sign. Oh man, my camera's doing that thing again. This is so weird. I don't know why that's happening. I wonder if it's overheated or something. Or... yeah, I'm not sure. Because I haven't done anything different with it. And yesterday, I think it was fine after I turned it off and back on again, but I turn it off every day. So I don't know what's going on. So update, I deleted this. So I'm not going to change code for this. All right, what else? I think that's pretty much it. Undo tutorial. What do we call this? Like, I'm just gonna write cheats in quotes. The old tutorial was supposed to be much easier than the real game. The way we accomplished this was by lowering all of the default numbers and instead introducing the real numbers via constraints. Now, since constraints show right on the new run screen, we change the default numbers and just don't use the constraint. Just don't use some of the constraints yet. So I guess as part of cleanup, what I'm gonna have to do, did I already look through this? Let me write this down before I forget. In cleanup, I guess it's gonna be delete any constraints that weren't used or that aren't being used. All right, I think I looked through this. Yeah, it looks fine. All right, so now we got to add some content. And we got to test here and there, but we should add some content first. This bundles thing, I'm still not certain I want to do. An alternative to this is to rarely show, I guess, is to have a special perk that grants random perks or upgrades and just rarely show that perk. It's not quite the same since we wouldn't guarantee it and you couldn't pick it multiple times. Well, we probably could actually, but I'm going to put this down to the bottom. I think this is where things get difficult because I want there to be fun design space here. When I was testing this yesterday, I actually had a lot of fun. I think I've restarted this, right? Let me restart this one more time. And let me kind of run through this a bit just to show people the kinds of decisions that there are now. Yeah, Abby is here. She's just peacefully sitting here. What a good cat. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. What's even happening in this one? Enemies do more damage, start with a farm, and most farming perks max out. Okay, so we're gonna speed this up to like 3x speed. And I'm gonna play through a little bit just to show kind of what the decisions are. So I usually get another adventurer. I actually don't like that that's always something I do, but whatever, makes sense. And now, well, now I guess actually I need to get some money going here, huh? Which means we should probably get a quest. So I can put these things in. So this is not how the real game would go. I according to the game, I'm moving at like 1/3 the speed I should be moving at. But I'm going to get another worker pretty soon. There we go. Okay, so we got another worker. We need to... We need to just sit around for a bit. Alright, so anyway, town perks is where I think things started getting more interesting. So in this particular case, okay. I see. Hey, Pretzel. Happy middle of the week to you, too. Thank you for only joking about segmenting. Okay, never mind. I had a point here that I realized is kind of undone a little bit. I had the benefits of the tutorial helping, so I wouldn't see any of these perks because I don't have these buildings. Although the buildings also were super cheap. I wonder if those should be meta perks. If you segment with bits, no. In fact, actually, it's pretty annoying when someone used to cheer like one at a time. It's like they're throwing a penny at you and saying, acknowledge me. Yeah, this is why I was saying balance is really important. Like, do I want the first challenge mode run to feel like a slog? Because if it does, then I don't think you're going to have fun. Maybe what I could say for level 0 is the game is intentionally much easier. Wouldn't we consider it disrespect? I mean, if you could just ignore it, it wouldn't be disrespect. It is technically free money still for me. But I think I just set the minimum higher, so people can't even do it in this channel. But yeah, if they were doing it, I'd probably have ignored it. Hey, Warrior Eyes. Yeah, all right, I think we're going to need to do this for the sake of balancing. I write this down. We should probably say that level 0 and level 1 have a bunch of special hidden parameters that make the game easier so that you can, so that new players have fun. Also, we probably should start you with a reroll or two, right? I think that's probably a good thing. Although I was originally thinking of making that a meta perk. To start with more. But I guess we should start you with more to begin with. And then there could be a meta perk to even change it beyond that. So where are rerolls stored? Reroll tokens, reroll tokens. Here it is. So let's just start that at 2. There. So now if you don't like your first choice or your second choice or whatever, you can reroll. You can actually reroll the same choice twice if you want. So if I enter a run and click this, I now have 2 of these. Oh, that's pretty cool. Get a free treasure chest every 98 seconds. Why is it 98 seconds? 120. Wait a second. What? Oh, that's not good. This is the decision I made yesterday, and it was intentional yesterday, but now I'm realizing the impact of it. So this number is this 120 minus the number of perks presented times 2. The problem is it's number of perks presented. It's actually the number of perks you have. So if you start with like 20 perks, this number is much higher. And that way these things would upgrade as you get them. I don't think we should do that. I think I should undo that. Yeah, I think it's a bad decision. Thankfully, it's very easy to fix. We just changed... Should we change this to be num perks bought? Yeah. Hey, Meridia. The day's going well so far. It's still very young. I want to make some content today, and I'd like to make a lot of it. but we need good ideas for that content. I don't think any individual idea is probably gonna be all that hard to code, but coming up with the ideas will probably be a little bit tough. Okay, so start player with 2 reroll tokens. This softens the first couple of perk choices. And then this is nerf generated abilities. We used to, I guess I should probably take a look at when we call generate on these, huh? That one's fine. That's never used. Oh, hey, that was easy to find. Oh, okay. Well, I guess we're done. Do I see Abby? Yes, you do. Is her little head right here? So we used to scale them based on how many perks you had, which meant that even meta perks or the challenge itself could contribute to their scaling, even if you hadn't gotten any perks. I don't think this is a good idea. So I'm basing it on how many perks you've bought, you've purchased. All right. So what can we do here? What are the best ideas that I had, and where are all of the ideas? So there was some list is nuts. Here are some of them. The slime can never go below X% hunger. Yeah, I think that's good. Perks I want to add. So let's do some design first. Let's try to come up with like 5 of these at least. Random town perks, just grant random perks. I don't know about that. Skeletons occasionally purchase an item at a slight discount when your warehouse is full. This is kind of interesting. I wonder if it should be like workers and adventurers sometimes buy an item that they're holding. And we could make this even more interesting. We could say like, if an adventurer is holding an item and chooses to buy it, it actually just improves their stats. So that would make you want to have your adventurers in town. Could change this to a worker or adventurer has a chance to buy the item that they're holding as though they're a customer. Could even further change it to adventurers who buy an item that they're holding gain stats. I don't think that's super fun. I think this one is pretty good though. A worker or adventurer has a chance to buy the item that they're holding. And I think we should further change it to notes. We should probably just have this happen once every X seconds for workers / adventurers. And they randomize their starting times. 2 is that they shouldn't purchase crops or guild supplies. It should just be sellable items. And then I'm just not certain it's going to be obvious that it's happening. But I think this is a really, really cool idea. So yeah, I think I want to do this. And then these notes are important. So let's go put this up here. What do we call this perk? Employee discount? It's not exactly a discount. Shrinkage. Hey, Gooey. It took me a week to write this. You'll get used to it. Also, if you didn't change keyboard layouts, if you're just using, let's say, QWERTY on your split keyboard, it should be very, very similar to what you're already using, such that within a day or two, I think you should get a lot better at it. Because if you sat, let's say you sat a kid down, I don't know, let's say they're like 6 years old or something, and you're like, hey, we're going to learn typing today. I think that they would improve visibly even within like an hour. So yeah, I don't think it takes that long for at least English typing. But yeah, if you're typing characters, if you're coding, if you're trying to hammer out a whole bunch of text that's maybe a little bit more difficult. What do we call this? It's your workers buying stuff without having to sell it. Yeah, what do we theme it as? They're not stealing it. They're buying it. And I guess we don't know the reason. Are they buying it because they don't want to do their job or because they want the item? Maybe it is categorized as employee discount, and it's something like they buy something but not at the full price. Yeah, I don't know what we call this. Also trying to do it right and get rid of bad habits. Also navigating code is very different. Yeah, navigating code, coding, all that would be very different. Getting rid of bad habits is something that I think probably would have slowed you down even if you're on your old keyboard. So ideally, after another like couple days, you feel like you can type normally again. And then yeah, navigation, coding, that stuff's still going to be difficult and you might need to change your keyboard layout. But I hope you like it. Yeah. All right, I don't know what we call this. We could say it's employee discount. And we could say they buy it at not full price. Anyway, that's decent. So I had a bunch of negative things, which I guess we're not going to do anymore. Random town perks, random perk depth. While you have a spell active, crops grow faster. While you have a spell active, crops grow faster. I think we should do that. Negatives could fit into the challenges, that's true. Although I think they need to be very polarizing. So what do we call this? Something like magic. Magical farming. I don't know. I'll come up with a better name. Congrats on picking industry. Enjoy the dud perks. Yeah, I do think we're going to need to throw those sorts of things in. So I guess all these negatives should be collected up too. But for now, I guess let's get the positive ones. Get reroll tokens more often. Would this be a perk people would want to pick? I don't think it's exciting. So I think it should be a meta perk or something. And I'll just delete that for now. When rendering twists, make them clear they're different from regular perks. We already kind of did that. I'm just going to delete this. Balancing, are they too impactful? I don't have any other ideas here. Hey, let's see. These were observations from a month ago. I wonder if we've addressed a lot of these things. This isn't really the task right now, but I'm curious. Keys are either too easy or too hard to get. There's no point where they feel great. Yeah, I agree with this still. Chests should cap their cost, maybe 50 gold. At that point, you're opening them so fast, you don't need more treasure stand. I don't know. Have we thought about synergies and anti-synergies? Crops grow instantaneously, but are always carrots. And another perk that says each time you harvest a crop, you get a gold. Crops grow instantaneously. I think that's something you should just get to by getting all the speed bonuses. Hey, Half, how you doing? Need another enchanter's spell. I have re-rolling. Storage is kind of at a premium. Yeah, I think there need to be a whole set of perks that are based around having too many items. What else? Yeah, armor items stack up quite a lot. We got to think about that. Any adventurers that never seem to have a place probably just need to be buffed. Yeah, we still got to do that. Showing stats for buildings would help balance. Definitely seems like it's better to get a high. Yeah, sure. Time-based perks. Could be interesting to change up your runs. Especially give you a perk where the slime offers a minimum of 2 gold instead of 1. I mean, we could do that. There's I'm always hungry, which is the slime can never go below X hunger. I guess we could do something like the slime always offers a minimum of a higher amount of gold. I wonder what the odds are that that helps you, though. Let's say that perk costs you 50 gold. You would need to feed the slime at least 50 items that would have cost 1, and now they cost 2. Hey, Matt. Baggy jeans are back in style. All kids are wearing 90s style baggy clothes in general style. All right. Well, I hope you have a good lunch. Good to know. I felt like I traveled back in time. There's probably going to be a lot of that. I feel like there are many trends that are cyclical. And fashion is probably one of them. Hope work is going well. Yeah, I think it is. We're trying to come up with perks that I can code today. Yeah, this has already been done. Nice to have some town perks that affect battle. Plus 10% to all numbers offered from battle perks, or plus 1 battle perk offered per character. These are kind of interesting. I do like this idea. Like, make the battle perks you get better. In fact, I wonder if up until that point, nothing makes them better. So it's only getting this perk that would make them better. It would be kind of interesting if this were one of the only... I'm not going to write this down. More nostalgic for my childhood than I am, because companies keep trying to sell my childhood back to me, but the kids get swept up in it. Nostalgia is very powerful. The first thing that this brought up, by the way, in my mind is, in the 90s, there was a show called That 70s Show. And then 20 years later, they made a show called That 90s Show. So, first of all, I wonder, will they ever have like a That 2010 show or something like that? And maybe, yeah. I guess 20 years is probably the magical number for making you feel like, I wonder what it'd be like if that was today again. Hey, Kevin, thanks. I hope you have a good Adam as well. My wife asked me again about the cats, by the way. I'm like, Kevin's going to tell us. It probably won't be before today. Oh, the Walkman and records music on tapes for himself to listen to? Well, really? I'm kind of impressed by that. I would have expected it to look like a Walkman, but be digital. There should be sludge production spells. Okay, that is smart. Yeah. Maybe there is a spell that just... Yeah, actually, that's a really good idea. I'm going to write that down somewhere. I have it written somewhere. I don't know where. So we got to find it. Yeah, we got to find it. And I got to write a thing about it. Yeah, so The enchanter is meant to fill in any needs of the town. And the one we haven't addressed is if you aren't getting enough sludge, we could have a spell that says something like every second add 1g of like create a magical potion worth 2g that flies into the extractor. So it basically fills the farm and the pond. Oh, there was another idea that I had. Oh, let's write this one down. Auto harvest. I like this a lot. Perk auto harvest. Occasionally applies your manual clicking to the farm. So if you got harvesting efficiency, it will be impacted by this. It may be better formulated as harvest one crop every X seconds. I think people would probably want the same thing for fishing. Wondering if I should send an email and ask if they've at least received the form. I don't know, probably tomorrow. Because like I said, I think after today, they might have handled the things they need to handle. Being intentionally vague. We cool to modulate the potion with a gold filter for some bling bling. It's a 90 suggestion. No, I think I'm probably going to use the employee discount thing you suggested, but I'm going to modify it a little bit to just be while a worker or adventurer is holding an item, they have a chance to just buy it. That way we only modify the holding an item thing. Anyway, let's keep looking through this. Add more perks. Here we go. Let's look through these. Auto eating from the warehouse when a max hunger. That's already done. Auto create fish. Farm auto harvest. Yeah, I'll write that down. I was thinking of making this a farm spec only perk. You should just have it in the pool and see if it's fun. Yeah. All right, let's put this over here then. Flavor angle. Maybe make customers tip occasionally even when they don't desire the item. It's a way of adding crits. This is kind of interesting. It's sort of like shiny loot though, and one's probably going to be better than the other. I think we need some kind of item stacking for sure. But it can't just be all items stack everywhere. It's got to be something like this shop now allows for it. Yeah. Shop specific item stacking. Or maybe even a certain number of displays. It's got to just be the whole shop, right? But it doubles your storage or triples your storage. There could even be 2 levels of this so that you could triple your shop storage, but only for like items. What else? What else? We've gotten a lot of this list done. So I know this is like 33 pages long, but it's not actually meaningful tasks anymore. Cleanup stuff is. But I'm not going to look at that anymore. All right, so how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need more. We need more. Completing a quest gives you more customers. You can find treasure chests from battling. I think this is too risky. Auto harvest the farm. Yeah. Probably need perks that'll help dealing with excess items. So this I've got to think about some more. Let's put this here. Killing a boss, convert a customer into a worker, take an armor for sludge. This could go up to this. 25% chance to reroll a crop if it's not the best possible crop. This idea is okay. It's just okay. We could require that you have crop variety before offering this. When a worker feeds the garbage slime, its hunger doesn't decrease. I think it could just be X% chance that its hunger doesn't decrease. Alternatively, or, oh my God, or maybe additionally, X% chance that the slime's hunger doesn't decrease when fed. Goodbye, cat. Oh, I can sit correctly again. Nice. I would tie item stacking with worker stacking. Like only workers can stack items. Creates a synergy with workers and makes them as an alternative to just doing everything with a quick menu. I think if only workers can stack it, then it leads to somewhat of an awkward situation where like a worker is holding item X and another copy of item X is somewhere else. Do they prioritize filling a stack or doing something with the item? And then how in depth does this get? Like let's say the slime is here and there's an item right here. And then there's another item way over here. And it's like the worker should just take this and feed it to the slime. But instead it walks all the way over here, collects up the stack, and then like brings it back to the slime or something like that. So that's where I think it's probably better if it's only on the destination. And that would make you want to get more workers. You already want to get more workers, I guess. But this would make them do something that wouldn't normally be done. I think the other thing is if we have item stacking, we could make it so that customers buy a whole stack. But yeah, we should probably change it so that customers only buy a single item at a time from a stack. It could be a perk to make them buy the whole stack or have a chance at doing that. Does any of that change with how it works right now with story mode? Right now in story mode, there's just item stacking. It affects your warehouse, it affects the ground, it affects workers, it affects shops, and it affects customers buying stuff. If you were suggesting that just workers should be able to stack items, that's not currently in story mode. So what I was saying is, in the case where we made it so that just workers can stack items, it becomes a problem of like now a worker has a priority of, hey, there are 100 items on the ground. Do I go try to pick up 2 of them at once, or do I just do something with 1 of them? Like what happens if a worker's holding something and they're already at the shop and then an item pops out of the portal? Are they like, well, I'm closer to the shop, so let's drop this off? I just don't want it leading to behavior that a player is like, oh, that's suboptimal. Because that's kind of what's happening with farming already. A lot of people are like, why don't they harvest my crops? And they do, it's just a last priority. Oh, you're thinking items can stack anywhere. Okay, I didn't understand that. It's just only workers can place items that will result in a stack. I see. I'm still torn on this idea of, well, let me say what I'm not torn on. So new conclusion is the quick move menu should probably be unlocked by default. But then I'm torn on like how much do we support / force a player to have workers? So let's say you have infinite APM, then the quick move menu is all you'll ever need, but it's not really fun. So just getting workers to alleviate that and be able to relax again, I think is nice. So should we try to punish you or prevent you from doing everything you could do right now? And yeah, I don't know the answer to that. Also, loading time is now like more than a second. That's kind of interesting. All right, what else do we have here? All hired adventurers get plus stats. This could be something that we only offer you if you are at a low number of adventures. I kind of like it. Perk stronger hires. Strong hire. I think stronger hires is probably better. So like adventurers you hire will start with X battle perks applied. And then note, only offer this perk if you have less than, I don't know, like 5 adventures, Y adventures. Y is equal to 5. So that it actually is going to do something. Harvesting crops or fish gives mana. I was talking about another spell for the enchanter that would automatically fill up the farm and the fishing pond. If you got that and then you also got this, that the crops then give you mana back, I think that could be pretty interesting. But I wonder if it should be from harvesting. I think we should do something where like be some idea where opening a treasure chest causes a benefit to happen more than just the treasure, I guess. This could make you prioritize rapidly opening chests. It gives mana, ties in a collection of perks that makes the enchanter buffs pop off. Yeah. I just wonder what it should be on, because if you think about it, we have an event, something, and then a result is gonna be like get mana. So the something could be harvest a crop, fish, feed the garbage slime. Because yeah, it does kind of make me think. It makes me think it should maybe be on here. Every time you feed the garbage slime, you get 1 mana. But then we eventually need more spells. But I think we should add another spell. Also, it could technically be on both of these things. We could have like every time you catch a fish, you get 5 mana. Every time you feed the garbage slime, you get 3 mana. I guess what needs it more? Because the event isn't really that hard to just recode. More you stack enchanter buffs, the more power you get out of those buffs. I just don't want to have like boring perks. Like, imagine we had something like harvesting a crop gives +1 mana. Catching a fish gives +2 mana. And yeah, feeding the slime gives +1 mana. Like if we have 3 different perks here and you're like, I don't want any of these. Why are they so similar? I think we can do slightly different things and still have them be interesting. And I don't know which one is the most interesting in terms of getting mana. Because all of these are already happening pretty regularly, except for fishing, maybe. Fishing has a perk already for fish give gold. Fish obviously already gives sludge. I mean, you are putting potions into the pond. It makes sense that the fish might be magical. They're already glowing sometimes. In fact, maybe that's what we do. We say like glowing fish give mana. Mana fish. Glowy fish give mana to the enchanter. Catching a glowy fish gives mana to the enchanter. Okay, I think I like that best. I think that makes sense too. Okay, so this is done. You can also do reduce cooldown time and lower spell cost as alternate approaches to the same effect. Yeah, I think we might need to slightly nerf mana regeneration. May need to slightly nerf mana regeneration naturally if we have several perks affecting it. May. I should really highlight that. Not sold on this. Okay, let's take a look at this. So some idea where opening a treasure chest gives you a benefit. Problem is, chests cost money and give battle stats. So we can't really give money back. It's pretty much just lowering the cost of the chest. So, and we could give more items, I guess. But I wonder if there's something else we can do, because it's somewhat rare. Maybe we say like chests can drop regular loot now. Or maybe like, that's pretty much just giving you money, by the way. But not exactly. Like chests contain a rare weapon. And then we just look at our weapon graphics and pick a new one that we haven't used. Yeah, we put in like a golden axe or a golden bow or a golden sword. Quest items, which is regular loot. I think quests are not in a great state right now, such that they're not super desirable. Quests are right now are basically like put in a bunch of money via items and get one worker. And if we have perks affecting quests, we probably need quests to eventually be infinite. Like, I wonder if we should change the quest system. So it's just there's always a quest, and whether or not you can complete it depends on how far into the map you can get. Because right now, the way that it works is the first quest requires the forest, the second quest requires the jungle, then the third is the waterways. And I think there's only one more, and it's the Inferno. Something like this. I'm all for a new item dump mechanic. Yeah. I think I still need to draft that out. But that's definitely one of the big things I got to figure out. I just wonder for treasure chests, is there some other thing? Like, if it did contain loot, more so than just guild supplies, is that interesting? I don't think so, but I think something else could happen here, and I don't know what. We could say something like opening a chest lowers the cost of the next battle perk. That's kind of interesting. But this is pretty much equivalent to saying opening a chest gives you sludge. We could say a chest can contain a golden pumpkin, which is worth 20 sludge. Maybe a new token item that applies for quests and grinders, but can't sell for gold, like a wildcard item. We could just change the rules and just say armors can now be put into the grinders. And when you get that perk, you now have a reason, you now have a way of using your excess armor. Yeah, I'm still not sure, but I'm still kind of thinking about the treasure chest stuff. Is there any other thing? Drops from chest defeated and other mechanics. Yeah, I guess if we think about it in terms of what other things are there, it's like feeding into a spell. It could be like opening a chest, just extend the length of one of your spells. I wonder. So chests as a system already touch a lot of other systems. Item acquisition lets you get keys, so weapons can turn into keys. And then your workers need to actually move the keys, or you need to move the items from the chest. Workers, adventurers, battling. Quest. I guess what we could do is we could say when you get done with the regular quest track, quests start taking treasure items. Spawns a mimic customer. Yeah. Hey Ryan. I'm not sold on this. I don't know. Maybe it's not even opening chests. That's the problem. Also, I wonder if the weapon grinder should just increase in cost as the game goes on. That might make a lot more sense than what I've been doing. I should probably write that down. We make the weapon... Should we make keys increase in cost as the game goes on? They start at like 10 to 20 G and work their way up. Well, what do they even start at now? Excuse me. Treasure room. There's something here about keys. I don't know what that is. Treasure chest? No. It's a weapon grinder that has this. What am I talking about? Key. Here it is. 25. Okay, yeah. So they start at 15G and work their way up to what they are now. 25G. If I can spam unlock chests at endgame to boost buying speed, that would be huge. I think you'll probably have many ways to boost buying speed. Chests could be one of the ways. Like I could write this down. Like opening a chest could spawn a temporary customer that buys stuff. Oh, you know what might be interesting? It might be a little more flavorful here is opening a chest first consumes up to like 10 items in the warehouse to provide more guild supplies. Okay, that's interesting. I like this formulation of it. Yeah. So Mimic is evil. Eating people. That's the treasure spirit. Treasure spirit's nice. Just wants to talk to treasure chest. All right, what else do we have? Plus item category value. So one way of doing this would just be a literal like potions are worth 1G more. Or 10% more or something like that. This is like a worse version of shiny loot. We would presumably scale the item, the category specific multiplier faster, but it's still not super interesting, I think. It just insanely boosts your adventurers, has a low chance to consume a customer. Eat people, buff adventurers. Hey, Binder, welcome in. And thanks for the raid. I hope people aren't coming in right in the middle of an ad. I feel like this is kind of frustrating that that's even possible. Planning day with Mei Xing, software engineer. I'm trying to see what you streamed. Game dev 5 days ago. Okay, so you're working on a game? Huh. Yeah, I looked through your history. Lurked a bit before. Yeah, welcome in. Yeah, I see you've got some chat messages in here. Actually, for like the last 7 years. Wow. Yeah, how'd the stream go? What are you generally working on? It sounds like it's game dev and occasionally streaming games. Doing planning with the artist. I think it's cool to work with another person who's kind of public about what they're doing. There are probably a lot of pros and cons with that. But yeah, I'm curious to hear about the game. Oh, hey, Mei Xing. Welcome in. But yeah, for those who are new here, we're working on Skeleseller, and the game it's getting closer and closer to release. We got a lot of systems and mechanics in the game now. But the thing that we got to do is we got to come up with more perk ideas. So here are 3 examples. We have expanded warehouse, free treasure chests, and we have a spell gets more powerful. And like we can re-roll this and we can find some different perks here. We need like way more of these things. So some of them are really straightforward, like max customers. If we click this, we'll see another customer walk over the bridge here. So like this person can now just buy stuff in town. So yeah, I'm trying to come up with ideas. I'd love to add another 20, but we don't need to do it all at once. And how many ideas do I have now that I think are actually worth adding? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, so we need a bunch more. Yeah, I'm not totally sold on this. All hired adventurers, or maybe even supercharge or lowest level adventurer gets X battle perks. I kind of like that idea. Like pick an adventurer you have. Take the lowest level adventurer you have and give them X perks. I'm not sure it's going to be picked a lot, but yeah. All right, could allow stacking spells, loot magnet, changes to a chance to upgrade the loot in addition to doubling it. I don't like that. Workers occasionally pull items from the portal when they've gone X seconds without one. I think this is such a cool idea. Like they can just create items. They might create bad items. Maybe the items they pull from this are in a special pool. No, that couldn't be it because then customers would require it. I'll just say a curated pool of items worth a middling amount. That way it's not a waste of their time. Working on a farm sim RPG, Kanta Islands. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Oh, is that the name of the game? They can allow people to build their own NPC towns and islands and set their own quests. Sprite-based pixel game. That's cool. I like... What this reminds me of is Forager to some extent. And yet that game's not really a farming game. But yeah, it reminds me of that. And thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I can't take any credit for the game looking good. I can take some credit for the game feeling good. But the looks are all other people. Mostly Quickie Joe. Who's probably going to have to make a lot more icons now if we come up with these perks. I think this is a cool idea. I don't know how often this is going to be necessary. I don't know how often this would be helpful as a perk. You almost always have too many items. Fish and or crops auto-spawn without potions. I think this should just be a spell. Every time you buy a town perk, get a random one for free. This is bonkers. All right, let's go back up to this category, which we need to tackle. Need many perks that will help deal with excess items. I think just getting more warehouse storage it should probably happen faster. Like we should probably cut out some levels of the warehouse. What does it look like right now? I guess I need to click a million times to find it. Oh, there it is. That wasn't so bad. Yeah, it's got 7 levels. The idea that I had originally was that we just ramp it up. So it goes 8, 16, 24. Then maybe it starts adding 16 at a time, 40, then 56. Or maybe it's like 8, 16, 24, 40, 64. So this is plus 8, plus 8, plus 16, plus 24. But I wonder if it should just be plus 16 every time. So 0, 16, 32, 48, 64. And this is kind of what I'm leaning toward now. I think this probably makes the most sense. The nice thing for the player is that it cuts out a couple of levels. 3 levels to be exact. Yeah, I think we should do that. And then we can make more things that rely on having the warehouse. So I'll write that in my balancing section that we have here. Where is that? Change, what's this called? expanded warehouse to give plus 16 per level. We have a meta perk around this, which I guess can start you with 1 level of this perk. It should be much more expensive if we do that. Yeah, oh, this is kind of interesting too. Casting a spell causes X items to be sold regardless of where they are. Maybe what we could do is, like, casting a spell causes the items that are in the shop for the longest to be sold. But then why would you cast the customer spell? Maybe it always causes items on the ground to be sold? No, that wouldn't make any sense either, right? The whole... No, I don't like this. Well, item stacking should be a thing. I think we have that written down already, though. Yeah, shop-specific item stacking. I do like this a lot. And then maybe we have warehouse item stacking as well. Would you even need it? I guess it's not as helpful if the source has item stacking, but the destination doesn't. Auto sells lowest value items for 75% of its value. So what I'm concerned about, I guess, is the enchanter already has a customer spell, a worker spell, and an item spell. And I think in the future we'll add in like a sludge spell. So it's like, if you get the perk that auto sells items, why would you cast this one? And maybe the answer is, like, we tie the auto selling to this spell. So like casting, what's it called? Shopping spree immediately sells X items. Yeah, I like that. Okay, that's much better. Yeah, I like that a lot. All right, so let's do that. Perk ultra shopping spree. Casting shopping spree sells X items. Regardless of where they are. Ground, warehouse, or shop. Yeah, and I think just making it random is fine. I like that a lot. I like it a lot, a lot. I think it's really good. I also like this idea quite a lot too. When you open a chest, it will consume a bunch of items from the warehouse and give you more guild supplies. The only problem is it would have to pick maybe the lowest value items from your warehouse. Yeah, maybe the lowest value ones. Not sure. Let me think about this some more. What we could do is we could change this to something like the treasure spirit occasionally consumes your lowest value item from the warehouse in order to lower the time on all chests by 5 seconds and increase and add a single, and I can't really add one item. That's not how that works. Add a bonus item to all of them. Could be one bonus item. I'm not sure we need more eat from the warehouse stuff though. Yeah. I don't know about that. All right, well, we have this one written down already. We have this one written down. Item combining in the warehouse. I think this is very interesting, but I feel like this should be a standalone building. There should be some kind of like crafting station. And I don't know how this would work exactly, but like when you put in 3 of the same item, it gets upgraded. And again, I don't know what this means. Like maybe it's like a potion turns into a glowy potion and we just have it go up by a set amount of money. So this would be worth like 15G now. And then we say something like glowy stuff can't combine. So you can't keep just infinitely combining these potions. But are you doing this? Is this now a quick move destination? Are workers doing this? Is this automatic? I think we should add in the vault, by the way. I should definitely write that down. Oh, I think that's better as a meta perk, maybe. Start you with some storage. Yeah. Super Adam. It just buys all the items. I was actually thinking like a chance that a customer purchases 2 items at once. Although if we have item stacking, I guess that would be, it'd be a chance to buy the whole stack. But yeah, I think the last thing we need to figure out is what do we do about armors that you have? It could be something like armor items don't decrease the hunger of the slime as much. But is there some other creative thing we can do here? Maybe adventurers that pick up armor items consume the item and get plus health. Chance to get plus health based on the value. Although then if you need money and your adventurers are going and just taking the items, I don't think that would be nice. Also, this is very similar to another thing that we have here, which is the employee discount. Your workers and adventurers can just buy stuff that they're holding. And we could say this happens more often with armor items than with anything else. I think part of this would involve like playing the game a bit to figure out how this is going. Let's hire another adventurer and start some battles. I'm just going to get some random perks here. Not going to pay too close attention to this. Mostly just the adventures I have. So yeah, what happens if we have this going on? You have tons of items. I mean, I guess we're going to have a bunch of perks that will take care of this stuff for you. And item stacking will help too. Produces shoes that increase customer or worker speed. We have some perks that do that stuff already. We have customer speed, worker speed, and then we have the spells for them both. There's got to be something. Like, we could come up with a different idea. We could say something like, there's a bin at the back of the armor shop where you dump excess armor. And it occasionally spits out a golden armor that sells for a ton of money. So basically, like, you put in 250 gold, not even that much, I don't know. You put in like 50 gold worth of armor items, and it gives you 1 golden armor worth 75 gold. This is very, there are a lot of similar systems now that this is kind of tough to figure out, because like your excess stuff could be going to the garbage slime. Any thoughts on increasing the timeout length for items on the ground? Yeah, I was thinking it could be a meta perk. I don't know if I already have it written down somewhere. Yeah, items last on the ground for longer. Incentivizes you to not sell armor items ever. I mean, not quite. You still want to have some throughput. Like, well, I guess you're right. It does, because it's strictly better. But, well, It's not strictly better. Let's say you're only getting armors worth like 3 gold. If you need the money now, 3 gold is better than waiting for another like 16 items to get 75 gold. But I get that that's not a huge trade-off. But we could say something like this effect can only happen every like 15 seconds. So armors still need to sell. But yeah, I think this idea is kind of cool. We could say something like when the armor shop is fully stocked, there's a chance to like magically change the items into golden armor. So if 2 cloaks were here, for example, it might turn them into a golden cloak. I mean, this could happen for every single shop. It is similar to item stacking. Very similar. Could have another use for armors. Yeah, I don't have a lot of ideas. Look at them all go. Oh, man. Be cool to have synergy with idle workers. There technically already kind of is in the form of the garbage time perk, which would make them go, feed all this to the garbage time. And then I think this perk is going to accommodate that. Where is it? Yeah, this one. A worker adventurer has a chance to buy the item that they're holding as though they're a customer. I think that's a really cool idea. Also, I think this might be it. This might just like, this might fix a lot of the item stuff. Because we have 3 new perks that are going to help this. Yeah, we have this one, shop specific item stacking. So like you'll be able to stack items. That'll double your storage. We have ultra shopping spree, which will just randomly sell items. And then we have employee discount, which will also sell items based on workers or adventurers picking them up. And I think this one can have many levels. Yeah. Should have many levels for this. At the high, this will incentivize getting lots of workers too, which is nice. So imagine you don't even need to sell stuff because your workers are all taking it. All right, well, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And this one could technically be another 2. So it could be like 11, excuse me. Anything else? Well, maybe that's a good start. Maybe we go code all these and then see how it feels. Yeah. All right, I think so. Yeah, let's start coding these. So goal is add 20 perks. It's really add as many perks as possible. So let's get started. I'm always hungry. Close out of these things. Come on. Cool. Ability ID. So what have we been calling the other ones here? Recycler. Yeah, so let's do recycler always hungry. Faster hunger. This is called I'm always hungry. Where's the garbage slime? Looks like that has no icon, I guess. We got to manifest icons for all of these things. Manifest icons for all of the new perks. Pretty much anything with icon ID done none. Let's do that in a cleanup. Because I don't think it's going to be very interesting to do right now. Okay. Then let's go get some of this stuff. Localized messages. Foo equals. Cool. All right, there's going to be display name, which is, yeah, I'm always hungry. Whoop, come on. Yep, good. Great. So messages dot get display name. All right, missing partial modifier. So this only exists in challenge mode right now. And how are we doing this? The slime can never go below X% hunger. So hunger floor. So the start is 0% hunger. And then how should this level up? I feel like there should probably be maybe 2 or 3 levels. This seems just super dangerous to me to even do this. I think the garbage slime, when fully maxed out, is going to be just a powerhouse of earning money. So it's very hard to figure out the numbers on this. Let's take a look. How does this work? Scrap percent value per hunger. So this is 0.014. So 0.014 times 40. It's 56% of the value of the item at the lowest. But then, and this is why this is really, really difficult to figure out, because you could have critical eating. And that's a 45% chance to give an extra 120%. So 0.45 times 1.2. So on average, we're adding another 50% to that value. So 0.56 times 1.5. So now it's 84% of the value of the item, assuming you have this maxed out. And then there's some other thing too, isn't there? I guess the new perks we're going to add that could give you like mana or something. So maybe the 3 levels put you up there a little bit slower, like 15, 30, and 45%. Let's try it. Hey, Kurohige. A long time since I've been in the chat. Yeah, it's been a little over a month. How's it going? It's going pretty well. I'm a little bit nervous about these changes that I've been making to challenge mode. So the short summary of what's been going on is maybe like 2 months ago, something like that, we started challenge mode. This is the mode for adding some content to the game. And it's a roguelite mode. And at first, it just wasn't that fun. And then we made changes and it still wasn't super fun. And now we're making more changes. So the goal is still to find what's fun about this. And I think we're getting closer. Worth having perks that state X other perk will be removed from the pool to avoid cases where there's too much synergy from perks. I'm not sure. I think I want there to be other limits. So I think I want the limits to be like how much money you make in a given match and how many perks there are in the pool. So as just a simple example, if we have 100 perks in total and you get roughly 30 for any given match, that's going to limit synergies. But if we have 100 perks in total and you get 70 per match, then all the matches are going to seem kind of the same. So I think we just need to have as many perks as possible that are still fun and exciting, and then make sure that you finish a run once you've like gotten your local state of broken. So you haven't broken the entire game, but you've broken some part of it that's like it's pulling in a ton of money. And it's just fun seeing these synergies and seeing how they interact with what you already have. So that's what I'm counting on. And that's why I think it's worth focusing on content right now. And right now it's about 10 o'clock for me. I think, what do we have? Like 10 perks that I wanted to make. If it takes us, let's say, 45 minutes per perk, we can have a decent amount of them coded by the end of the day so that I can test it out and see, like, are these fun? Are they working? And then work on more tomorrow or the next day. And then maybe launch to play testers and see what they think. So yeah, so let's get to coding this. So hunger floor, the max level doesn't change. So let's get rid of that. This is not deferred to virtual property. It's just going to be hunger floor dot count -1. I don't know if we do the -1 there. Max level colon, yes, it is -1. Okay, hunger bonus list. We don't need this. So this is get hunger floor. Hunger floor. Looks good. Get ability description. Okay, so we need a description. The garbage slime, what do we say here? Can never go below floor hunger. Oh, wait, no. Can never go below a certain... How do I say this? Garbage slime is always at least somewhat hungry. Something like that. And then we need a column name. And it's going to say minimal hunger. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, so now this changes to messages.getHeaderName. This changes to, hello, messages.getDescription. I'm typing description and pressing tab. What is going on in VS Code? And then this is going to be hunger floor. We don't need a slice here. I think that's good. Now delete these things. Hey Mars, are you going to allow modding? I don't think modding is something I'm going to try to support out of the box. Modding is something that I don't think you should do preemptively if you don't even know your game's going to be successful. Because, like, let's say we spent, I don't know, a month even, and that's probably pretty fast. Let's say we added a month of time to get modding working, and then the game flops. It's like, that's a month of time we probably shouldn't have spent. Now, if the game is successful, then I'd reevaluate. I'm not saying I'd definitely allow it or definitely disallow it or something. I just think, is it worth it? And probably if the game is successful, there are going to be other priorities, like bring this to mobile or add controller support or something like that. All right, so we have this perk, Recycler Always Hungry. How do we test this in the easiest possible way? I guess we just go to Recycler Perks and put this in here. And have it cost 0, just for laughs. So now we need to make it functional. That should be pretty simple. We lower its hunger value somewhere. So we must clamp this here. Yeah, here it is, delta. But it's only when we subtract it that we need to do this. Here it is, hunger gauge.value. Yeah, this. All right, so this is equal to math.the maximum of the hunger floor and hunger gauge.value. Oh, come on. There. Okay, now the hunger floor is going to be that. Nice, easy. Okay, let's try it. Hey, Jay, welcome back. 2 days in a row. This man is having a lull at work. How's it going? All right, so I only added this to story mode. Let's go try it out. There it is. Look at how beautiful that icon is. All right, garbage slime is always at least somewhat hungry. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We are going to max out seek food. And we don't get this perk. So now watch what happens. We're going to put a bunch of items on the ground. And then we're going to speed this up. And you should see this bar drop to nothing. Yeah, perfect. Okay, now we're going to give it a minimum hunger. And it is not working. Why not? Hunger floor is 0.15. And what is the, oh, we got to multiply by the max hunger times max hunger. Okay, my bad. Real developer. Real developer forgetting to multiply things so they're a fraction of the value they should be. Okay, new game. I should really make items last for a very short amount of time. Okay. So they're going to eat. It's going to go down to 0. It's going to offer 1 gold at the end. Then we put 1 into that. And now when you feed it, it's actually going to jump up in hunger. And then it'll never go less than that 15% mark, which means that now it's going to offer some number higher than 1 for a lot of these. Yeah, in fact, you can already see some of those were giving me like 4 gold. And now we're going to put another point into this. And now it can't go below 30% hunger. And then 1 more point, and now it can't go below 45%. This is an insane buff. Yeah. Now, why are those values so high? That's the part I don't understand. This item is worth 24 gold. I put it into here. 18. 18 gold worth 12. Yeah, I guess they're just really powerful. This is probably too good. Yeah, because this isn't even at its maximum power level. This is at its maximum power level. Oh, I don't have enough money now. All right, well, whatever. Let's click that. All right, so now we put in some items. So this bow is worth 9. 13. It's giving us 22. So, like, this just makes the slime kind of always give you more money. I guess it's not a guarantee. Yeah, it's not a guarantee. But it's... Do you really care if you're not getting the... Oh. Yeah. Do you really care if you're not getting the exact value if you're getting most of it? So let's try that again. We're at 1,339. And by the end of eating it, well, 1,342. So it got us 1,240. I don't know how much that would have been worth if we hadn't fed the slime. Yeah, I think we already need to nerf this. I think we need to set this to like only go by 10% per level. And that's not even at the full power. There are also 3 levels of this, which can make you get hungrier faster. And then 2 more levels in challenge mode. So when all that's combined, the slime's just gonna... It's getting hungry super fast. It's gonna give you a ton of money. It's gonna become like the way to get money. Such a rapidly changing meta. You know, you make fun, EJ. Wait until this game comes out. This was another way of doing this, which is maybe a better formulation of it. There's a chance that the slime's hunger doesn't decrease when fed. And we could put that in as well. I don't know if we need another perk for the slime, though. We've already got like 6. I'm hyped for it. No, you're not. No, you're not. But you will be. You'll see. You'll love this game. You actually are. Okay. I take back everything I said. You won't see. You'll still love the game. Should we add this one too? Is this too much? How many perks do we have for the slime right now? 3 plus 3. Well, how many levels, I guess? So 6 plus 3 is 9. This technically is just 1. So 10 plus 3 is 13. Plus 2 more for this in challenge mode is 15. And then we're potentially adding like 3 more levels. We have 15 right now. Should we add the other one? And I guess let's compare it to the farm maybe and see. How many does the farm have? 1. This doesn't count. Never mind. 4 plus 3, 7, 9, 10, plus 2 more for challenge mode is 12 plus... Is there anything else? I guess there's crop value, but that's just one. It puts the game in easy mode when it pops off. We could make some of them rare. I actually did code rare perks. I should probably mention that. Yeah, let's go take a look. So town perk generator. I wanted to keep different adventurer limits in the game. So there's a 5% chance that it shows up now. And the grant storage like combo perk has a 30% chance to show up. Now, when I say chance to show up, I mean there's actually a chance that if it were eligible and it got generated. No, wait, no. Hang on. How's this work? What our algorithm goes something like this. Figure out all perks you could get. So even rare perks will be in this list. And then remove rare perks based on their chance to show. So as an example, let's say the only perks were like common, 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 rare. If we didn't do anything with chances here, you'd have a 25% chance of getting the rare perk. But what we do is we generate the whole list and then we say, oh, that rare one only has a 5% chance to show up. So 95% of the time, it'll get removed from the list. And then what we do is we just sample 3 of the list. So if the rare one's still there, now you're still not guaranteed to see it. You might get this set of 3 choices. In which case, not only was there a chance it got removed from the list, but then there's a chance it just doesn't show up to begin with. So I think that means it's very rare. And I'm okay with that. So yes, every once in a while, you will still get like +1 adventurer per battle. Because I agree with what you said, Codex. That there is some nuance there, and whatever, it wasn't that hard to code. And we could just lower this to even 1%. So maybe 1 out of every 10 runs you see this, and you're like, what? I didn't even know that was in the game. And you pick it, and you're like, that was super powerful. I'm never going to get that again. And cool, whatever. It superpowers one of your runs. So yeah, I guess let's hold off on the other one for now. So then this has been added in, but it's not been added into challenge mode. So we need to put it into challenge mode by putting it here. And this is called what? Always hungry? Yeah. And then we get rid of it from here. And then we check in. You're going to indicate rarity or just rely on users to identify that it's something that's really powerful? Yeah, I don't know yet because right now we only have 2 rare perks. So if we only have 2, I don't think I'm going to indicate that they're special because they're going to be so rare that you'll just be like, oh, that's not something I see very often. But if there are like 10 or 15, then I think some kind of icon would probably be needed because then you'll see them more frequently and wonder which ones are rare. Then again, rare pretty much means that they're the best. So if I put an indicator, it's going to be like, oh, pick this one. I guess, I don't know. Yeah. I guess we'll just see how this goes. All right, so this all looks good. How does it look in the game? I'm always hungry. The garbage slime is always at least somewhat hungry. Yeah. I think that's good. Cool. Add I'm always hungry perk. And it should just show up. Yeah. Indicator kind of removes the choice in the matter. A lot of them could be balanced differently. Like let's say the one we just made, we determined is too strong. We can just change these numbers. The problem with the adventurer limit is we can't change the number. It's you start with 4 adventurers and the minimal increase is +1, which is a 25% increase. So we determine that's too great an increase, then just nothing we can do about that. You can't have 4.5 adventurers. Well, I guess we kind of could, right? We could say you can have 5 adventurers, but one of them starts with less life, or all of them do. I guess there are kind of ways to get around it, but it's she counts as that. Yeah, there are kind of ways to get around it, but even then, it's like, well, what if your healing is good enough where your party just healed itself to full, and now it's like, well, here are 5 adventurers. Maybe we say you can have 5 adventurers, but one of them gets a max life of 10. Like most adventurers have like 100 to 500 life. This one just gets 10. It's going to die in 1 hit. You won't have your 5th adventure anymore. Hey, Shot. Thank you. By the way, I feel the need to mention this after some amount of time, but do you good, we would probably say, how are you doing? Let me type that correctly. I know what you mean. I know that English isn't your first language, but I don't know if this is something you appreciate or not. I won't try to say it a lot, but I am doing well. I hope you're also doing well. And I'm glad that you like my shirt. I also like the shirt a lot. It's a cool look even in real life. Got like a shiny look. Okay, so employee discount. This one's a fun one, and I think it's going to be very powerful. So first we need to come up with how are we formulating this? What are we calling this? So employee discount, I guess we say description, your workers and adventurers sometimes buy the items that they're holding. And then I guess we have a chance and a level. I guess I could just insert this as a table, right? Table 2, there we go. All right, so level and chance. And then close these down so it's less big. And can I just press enter here? Level 1 chance. I don't know. I'm just going to make up a number here because I'm trying to figure out how to get to the next row. None of the modifier keys do it. All right. Row below. 2, 20%. And 3, 30%. Okay. So what should this be? Because chance doesn't make any sense. I think it should be a frequency. And even then, I'm not certain that this is going to make sense. Frequency. But also, this assumes you don't want them in your store. I guess why would you want them in the store if they're just gonna, if your workers are gonna buy them anyway? And I wonder what this should even be set to. Like once per minute, and then like 50 seconds, and then 40 seconds. Alternatively, it could be a chance on picking up the item. So option 1, guarantee that this happens every X seconds. Option 2, have an X% chance on picking up the item that they buy it. Option 3, have a random chance every so often that they buy it. Is there any other way we could do this? And I kind of like this idea the best. There's just a chance every time they pick up an item that they just outright purchase it. So they might pick up an item from the ground and purchase it, and then pick up another item from the ground and purchase it, and then pick up a third one and bring it to a shop. And I think that's fun. It's like all the other crit chances in the game. So I think I want to go with that. Chance to buy. So something to consider is that you probably minimally have like 2 workers most of the time, because there's the meta perk that grants you another worker. And then quests give you workers. And what is it? Cloning gives you workers. What else does? I guess hardworking adventurers turns adventurers into workers, should you ever want that. So that, what's your upper limit? I don't know what the upper limit is. Let's go take a look. 7 plus the starting one, plus the ones through quests, plus technically your adventurers, if we want to count those, plus for the meta perk. So 25 workers. Yeah, but how many are you getting on average? It's probably like 5 on average. So now how often are they picking up items? Because they have to walk them to their destination. So it's maybe like once every 10 seconds. And I want this to happen like maybe once a minute on average. It's 5 on average, and they have like a 10 or 15 second travel time. Then you are moving roughly 4 to 6 items per worker per minute. So it's 20 to 30 items per minute. And we want it to happen roughly like 1 to 2 times per minute, maybe. So we probably say like 1 out of 15. So there's like a 6% chance to sell an item like that or to buy an item. Hey, Bedro, will you check out my website? Yeah, sure. Let me go to localhost. Hey, it's already in my search. Wow. How's it going? Yeah, I think something like this would probably make sense. I like this idea. So 6% chance to buy, then maybe 12%, then 18%. This is super powerful though, and I wonder if we should have more levels of this. Like maybe a 4th level. And it ramps up slower. I guess let's go code it and then let's find out. So what are we calling this? Employee discount? Ability ID. Employee discount. That link would only work on your computer. Yeah. I assume Bedro knows that based on the kappa. And a hotel soap. All right, so we just need anything that has a display name typed out, so I don't need to keep doing this. No, not like that. How do you do this? Equals? Equal sign. Yeah. So any of these? Wow, apparently very few. Huh. All right, it's got to have some, I guess let's just copy this one then, right? Yeah, let's just copy this. Oh man, this reminds me. There's a what's this thing called? Copy Party. I saw this the other day. It's a single Python file that you just put onto a server and it makes like the greatest file hosting program ever. It seems really, really powerful and they've got a lot of features and very usable and fast. Yeah, I want to try this at some point. All right, so what are we calling this? Employee discount? All right, employee discount. And then what's the description? Your workers and adventurers have a chance to buy items that they pick up. And then this will just be chance. Cool. All right, so now we call this employee discount. Does not require a building. These are just going to be chances. Chances are going to be 6% per level. 06, 12, 18. Anything else? Nope, nope, nope. Looks good, looks good. Okay, cool. So there's our ability. Now we got to go code it. And then we got to add it to... Let's put it in the town hall for now, just so I can try this out. Why? Town perks there. All right, so we're going to have this thing cost 0. And then I guess let's put it in the town generator as well. This will go here. And then we code it. So how's this going to work? There's pickup item. And pickup item is going to turn into purchase. Reach target. Normally, we would do... What does this do? Oh, that's fine. Then we add a held item component. So what we want to do is there's going to be a chance that this is just considered to have been purchased. So float purchase chance equals that. This is not correct. Gotta be a town component here. There's no town component. Town equals town component dot get town. Or we just pass in an entity. So now we get that from player abilities. We get the employee discount thing. We check to see if this is true. Stack computations, percent chance, percent chance. Then we're gonna buy it to buy the item. This is a little bit annoying because we've got a bunch of buying logic here and I've got to do pretty much all of it, but not tipping. I don't want to do that. So get purchase amount, sale price, item value, get tip amount, The tip amount is there. I don't want the tip amount to count. Desired item. Isn't this for just customers? Drat. Drat. Yeah. All right. Well, we have item value. I guess what we're going to need is something like public long sell value. And that's when we put in this stuff. This is going to be get, put this up here, return item value. Okay, so now this can change. Item value equals item dot sell value. Delete these, put this here. Oh, we needed a sale price multiplier here too. Wait, what was that file sharing app? It's called Copy Party. I'll link it in chat. It looks very interesting. I watched a YouTube video on it. Hey, Carissa. And welcome in. I think there's sort of two things that are happening right now. One is the typing, and two is the actual like software development. And typing is a tool for this. So it might look like, oh, hey, he's typing things well, or he's typing things quickly, so he must know what he's doing. You can write bad code quickly. I don't think I am, but I'm just mentioning that that on its own is not a gauge of how good of a programmer somebody is. All right, so the sale price multiplier comes from here. And then we return the sell value here. Why is this a problem? It's got to be a float. What? Why? What? Hold on a second. What does this used to be? Sale price multiplier, long item value. Oh, I just typed the wrong thing. Okay. Yeah, I want to give it a shot. It's got some features that are pretty interesting. Like you can put a markdown file on the server and then edit the markdown file using that program. So presumably you could go to something like, I mean, let's say you point a local DNS at some local thing. So like 192.168.1.1/, copy party or something like that. Now imagine you go to this, you have your DNS pointing at this. Maybe it's like a homefileserver.com points at that. So you could go to homefileserver.com/whatever, home wiki, and share this with guests who come over, and it would have things like, well, I guess it wouldn't have the Wi-Fi password because they would have needed that to get to the site in the first place. But I don't know, it would have things like, I don't know what you need. I guess if you're running an Airbnb, you might need to point out like, here are local restaurants or grocery stores or something, or here's how you can control any smart automation things. Anyway, I think that sort of idea is kind of interesting. I've always talked to my wife about this, that there are certain bits of like, I don't know, instructions for appliances or recipes that we have or reminders. And it'd be nice to have like a shared notebook with that stuff, but in a way that is very easy to use. And I think that program could turn into it, and it'd be a very, yeah, it'd just be easy. Okay, so we got to get the item sell value, but then we got to do a whole bunch of other stuff here, and I think that other stuff is what's going to be hard. So where is this? Here it is. All right, items purchased on this trip to town. We don't need to do. We don't need to do that. Animate display item being taken. Display item. tc.target.remove item. Yeah, it's item right there. Okay, so we got to do that. And then what's the start position? So target.item global position. Why did I do things this way? Why didn't I do it this way? I think that would have been smarter. Oh boy. All right. So item.global position. Why do we even do this? If we have an item, why are we passing in two things here? And is this private? This is private. Why? Why? Oh, that's curious. That's not correct. I must have done this wrong. Target.get item. Global position. How? This can't be right. Because we're setting the item's position to the start position, but it already would have been set to that. Oh, Bedro, thanks for the sub. Future me asks past me why all the time. Yeah, I think this is unnecessary. I don't even think we need to pass this in. We're setting it to a position it was already set to, I'm pretty sure. Now let's try deleting that and see if it breaks anything. So now we don't need the start position. Is it used anywhere else? No. Okay. All right, so what does this do? Turn off collision, set the z-index higher, add it to the entity, and then do all this stuff. Okay. This is pretty reasonable. Do we have an item functions? We kind of do. Yeah, we kind of do. All right, I'm going to put this over there. This is going to be public static void. And then we need an entity to add it to. Entity to take the item. And then that goes here. It's not actually technically an entity. It's a node or something. Yeah, nice. Okay, easy. All right, so now we code that over here. So just delete all this. It's kind of nice. And then put this into item display functions. And then pass in the entity. And then do the same thing in this. So the item that we're buying is that, and the entity is the one buying it. Yep, good. Okay, cool. What else do we have? Now get the town, get bonus value. Oh, darn it. No. No. Oh, I don't like any of this. I really don't like any of this. Okay, well, our computation is going to be wrong. Or maybe we just don't take shiny loot into account. I don't know. All right, then we do this stuff. Sound ID. Total buy amount plus tip amount. Isn't this just the purchase amount? Where's that? I didn't even code that. All right, well, item.sell value. And then TC target get pickup point. Can't this just be the entity's global position? And then what's the text supposed to be? Plus, oh God. All right, there is no tip amount greater than 0, so we can get rid of that. It's going to be this total buy amount because there's the item sell value. Didn't even code that. Didn't code what? I probably just was on autopilot and said something and then immediately ejected it from my brain. Okay, I think this is decent. And now we need to not transition. Oh, wait, whoa. Maybe this will work. This just returns? What does it do? What? Wow. I think this will just work. I see. Okay, so we should probably ramp up the chance for this to happen. So at the highest level, let's make it 50%. And now let's go test this out. I'm curious. I'm curious if this is going to work. So what we just coded is workers and adventurers, when they pick up an item. Oh, wait. Oh, we gotta stop them from selling certain items. Hang on a second. I gotta write that down. Because, yeah, otherwise this would be super broken. But, yeah, workers should be able to buy an item when they pick it up. To make sure the item isn't a crop or guild supply. Yeah, they can't just sell crops. All right, so we click this, we click this. We go and have 1 million workers. And we drop some items. More items. And they'll never buy anything because I never gave them the perk. So now let's go do that and that and that and that. Okay, so this will make it so that none of them are holding items anymore. Right? Yeah. Nice. So they're all free. Now we're going to go get this. Employee discount. Your workers and adventurers have a chance to buy items that they pick up. So there's a 6% chance. And we're going to dump a bunch of items on the ground. And some of them should purchase. Yep, there we go. Plus 18 gold. And then it broke. Yep, it's like thoroughly breaking. But they're at least starting to do it. Can you give your sincere tips for beginners? I'd like to start coding games. I've always had a passion for them, and I've played them for many years. I have some coding experience with Java, Spring, JavaScript, React. It probably doesn't matter. I thought a tip about what engine I should pick. So I don't think engine choice matters much for beginners. I don't even think your entire first game matters much, because I think it's all about just kind of learning, having fun, getting used to things. So I would just say pick whatever engine you've heard of already. Or just based on any criteria. But within the next like 1 minute, pick an engine. And if you want to know what the most popular ones are, it's generally like Unity, Godot, Unreal Engine. There are some other ones like Game Maker Studio or something. But I'd say just pick one of these three. Yeah, Unity. Okay, great. So there's your engine. And then I would say the next thing, since you already know some coding, is go find a tutorial. Unity probably has a getting started guide. I would recommend reading through their official stuff. So probably this link. I cannot vouch for this myself because I have not used Unity in many years. But Godot's getting started guide is pretty good. So I assume that, you know, one of these buttons or one of these buttons is probably what you want to click. I say cog. And then, yeah, just mess around. And the other piece of advice that's really important is come up with a very tiny project. So projects are just problem creators, and that will guide your learning. But by not making it too big of a project, you won't get stuck in like, well, what am I going to do a year from now when I'm done coding this? You won't take a year because it's going to be a very tiny project. So if you were to make a game, I'd say like make Pong. Pong is not a game that should take somebody a year to make, even if they have no game dev experience. It doesn't take that long. So when you'd like render some paddles, you'd get input working, you'd make the basic game rules. And then if you feel like it, you'd make like a title screen or whatever you want, color customization on your paddle or something. Like those on their own are the kind of basics. Actually, just these three are the basics. And then you're done. There's Pong. You've made your first game. And now you can try a more difficult game after that, but not a much more difficult game. So just keep kind of building slowly on this stuff, and you'll eventually get the hang of it. So yeah, my biggest piece of advice, just to summarize, is doesn't matter what engine you pick. By the way, the reason why it doesn't matter is because you'll probably try many engines, and you should not belabor points that don't matter. So it'd be like if you're going to start game development, you're like, how should I sit with my legs in this chair? Should I like stack one leg on top of the other? Should I sit cross-legged? Should I sit with my legs off to the side on an ottoman? It's like that has no bearing on any of this. I get that a game engine is more of a bearing on the game you're going to be making, but not if you're only going to be doing that for a week or two and then find out you don't even like game development. So eventually you have more experience to be able to decide between different game engines. Hey, Seven. Yeah, go from Pong right into World of Warcraft, then make Facebook for laughs, and then what's another mega project? Fly a rocket into space. Did I link the 20 game challenge? No, that's a pretty good thing for me to link though. Let me link that in. So this is called a 20 game challenge, but now their list of games has more than 20 games on it. But Pong is the first one, and then from there they say to make Flappy Bird. These are both very simple games in terms of describing them to other people, coding them, even just getting the graphics for them. And I'm going to move on from this topic in just a sec. The last thing I want to say, hopefully, is don't focus on graphics or game design if all you want to do is start coding. So like if you are making Pong, you can draw some rectangles. But if you're making Flappy Bird, just go find an asset pack that's free online. Gonna start off small with a Netflix clone. I'd throw in like a side serving of Instagram in there. Like it should be a video watching and video sharing application. But at YouTube scale, I think. Hey, bots. Okay, so what's going wrong here? Let's copy this and figure out what's happening. So this we're going to ignore. Cannot add a rigid body to worker, already has parent worker. Because I did this here. Yeah, I didn't mean to do that. All right, so else do this. Is that the only problem though? Cannot access a disposed object? Probably. I wonder if we are kind of steering as a society toward not being able to learn as much. Sorry, this is sort of tangentially related, but it's based on what Matt was just saying here. Like, will there be a time in the future where someone, rather than learning, is just focused on doing and like getting an AI to do something for them? All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to get our usual 6% chance. Did I even get that? I did. I don't have sound on, so I can't tell. Then we're going to add a bunch of workers, and we're going to grant a bunch of items. So they should buy them occasionally. There, yep, but they are breaking things. So we got to figure out why they're breaking things. Value cannot be null. What are we searching for here? Pick up item, reach target line 66. Here. Value can't be null. What can't be null? Huh, that's strange. I don't see anything that could be wrong here. Worker state functions line 13. What could possibly be? Oh, wait, is it get component or null? Oh, whoops. Yeah, whoops. Okay. I was calling the wrong function. In fact, I wonder how many times I've made that mistake. Okay, so let's close this out again and just keep trying this until we've gotten this right. Learning is one of my favorite things to do. Society that doesn't value it sounds depressing. I think regardless of personal preference, it probably signifies that something bad is happening. Like imagine what it'd be like to talk to someone who doesn't want to learn things. Like, how much does that pervade other parts of their lives? Do they then not want to take an interest in you? Like, do they, I don't know, have a problem in their lives and they're just like, I'm not going to figure out how to solve that problem. It looks like this is working now. They're very rarely buying an item that they pick up. Yeah. This is pretty cool. Okay, so now let's up this to level 3, which is going to be a 50% chance when they pick it up. So I just add in a bunch of workers here. They're going to frequently buy these items. Now, they are getting pulled in from random locations, so I got to fix that. But yeah, let's get the rest of this stuff. Grant most things, give them garbage time, give this. And then add a bunch of customers. Upgrade shops. And speed this up. Oh, workers sometimes put items down in the warehouse only to pick them up again. All right, so let's try this now. How many just outright buy this? Yeah. This is not an actual problem. So I'm going to grant a bunch of items. So yeah, this I got to figure out why that's happening. I think it's offsetting by where this is twice. And I'm not positive why. To do, take into account shiny loot. What is happening here? Oh, the item is no longer parented to this thing. That's why. Oh. As soon as you remove the item, you no longer have the original position. Okay, so that's why we wrote that code there. Yeah. Clever, clever, clever. Okay, yeah. Need to get the position before removing the item. So then we also need to pass in the start position. And then we need to set the start position in here just like we had before. Whoops. All right, where's the code that we used to have here? It wasn't in this function. Ugh, come on. Where is it? Where is red? There, red. Got you. So it was right after copy. Oh, that didn't copy everything. Oh my God, that's so tedious. I'm trying to just get that line of code. It's just easier to do this. So it's right after add child in this now. So there's add child. Now we pass in the start position. Vector to start position. We don't need that to be nullable. And then we pass it in one more spot in pickup item. So before we remove the item, we need the start position. Cool. And then we pass it in here. Good. And that should fix that problem. I should probably just put a comment on that function for why we have start position. But let's try it out first before I do that. I should have saved the game. I don't want to keep doing this. Okay, now let's try it. Add 1,000,000 workers and add some items. Nice. Can you see them pick up an item though? Or buy it, I mean? It's going too fast. I want to see if that animation's happening. It's probably working and it's just really hard to see. Yeah, I think it's working. Yeah, it is. Okay. Whew. Neat. I like it. Okay, so now let's change the function and take in... This can't just be pulled from the item because it's actually the position of the item's old source. And by the time this function is called, the item was probably already removed from its source. Okay, now by item changes so that we don't have a comment right next to it. There it is. All right, so next thing we got to do is, and this is kind of funny. So let's click a couple of these things just to show what the problem is right now. There we go, speed this up. We'll get all our workers back. Got it. All right, so now everyone's free. Check this out. When they go try to harvest crops, half the time they're going to sell the crop. Yeah, 0 gold, 0 gold. So we got to stop that from happening. And then same thing with treasure chests. A lot of the time they're going to, how do I do this? Like that. Yeah, a lot of the time they're going to pick up guild supplies and just sell them. And you don't want that happening for sure. So make sure the item isn't a crop or guild supply. So if item dot, is there like an is sellable? I should probably just make it is sellable. In fact, where do we do this in other places? Item category dot crop. Crop is not a thing. Food. Food. That's the one place in the entire game we do this? Huh. Well, I guess there's also one right there, but otherwise there's nothing? Yeah, wow, there's nothing. And what about guild supplies? Which is called adventurer power up. Huh. Also interesting. Okay, so maybe we should be searching for armor. Item category dot armor. I don't want any of that. I don't want any of this. I just want to see if we already have this function. And it doesn't look like it. No, we don't. Okay, that's fine. So here's how we would do this. We We could do it on item category, in which case we would need an extension. Do we have an enum extensions? We do. All right, so I'm going to do is sellable. No, maybe is sellable in shop. Yeah, that's probably better. So this takes in an item category, and returns true if it is a potion or an armor or a weapon. All right, now we put that in pickup item. So if the item category is sellable in shop and this percent chance, and then we just have this to do item to fix. But let's go save this and try this out again. So save, quit, and then rerun. So now they won't sell treasure and they won't sell crops. Hopefully. Continue game. Okay, let's give them some crops. There's only a 50% chance, so it's possible that we wouldn't see this repro here. But let's just keep putting crops there. And I'll do it 12 times. And then I'll trust that I didn't get a 1 out of 2 to the 12th, which is 1 out of 4,096. Okay, sounds good. And now what about treasure? Let's do the same thing. There's like no... I need there to be more treasure, I guess. Let's do that. Let's just click all these things. There. All right. They picked them all up. Everything is fine. Cool. It has to work or not work. Yeah, but you weren't streaming your work. A propaganda for worker exploitation? The workers are getting all of these nice goods that they go bring back to their skeleton families. Oh, they don't probably have skeleton families. All right, so the only thing left here is shiny loot. Do we take that into account? What does shiny loot even say? Item sales are worth more. Yeah, we probably should. Fine. Fine, I don't want to do this. But I feel like we have to. All right, so how does this work? We get a bonus value and then go through income multiplier as well and get the total buy amount times the quantity. I didn't even consider quantity. So this probably isn't working right now. Let's give item stacking and then see that this is probably super broken. Yep, they're just buying it for 3 gold. Yeah, so we got to take all of that stuff into account, and all this should be in like one consolidated location. Man. And even this could be there too, right? Yeah. All right, let's... I don't want to do this. Public static void, testeroni. I'm not going to call them names for things right now. So what is it going to take in? It's going to take in an entity, like buying entity. And maybe that's it. And then paste in all this stuff. Oh yeah, it's got to take in the item and the start position. Item. Let's call it display item for now. Let's call this... I guess we just need to call it what's already called. And then the start position, vector to start position. Okay, so change this to buying entity. Buy amount, where does that come from? Get purchase amount? I guess we should say whether they can tip. But how do tips work? Tips are based on specifically customers. So maybe we compute the tip and then pass that in. Why do we even do this? This is pointless. This isn't get purchase amount anymore. It returns the base amount and tip value that a customer will pay. Customers tip when they desire a specific item and buy it. From game design perspective, actually something players incentivize to do. Blah blah blah. Something tells me I messed this up. No. The tips change. Okay. Oh man. So what do we do here? We're not changing the sell amount at all. So this is really just get the tip amount. So we just delete this function and then pass this in and delete that. So now get purchase amount is not a thing anymore. Where is that? Here. This is going to be long tip equals get tip amount display item. Amber. It is a corn keyboard. All right, now what do? We do all of this stuff in here. And we take in the display item, entity, and start position, and then just delete all of this. There's no way this is going to work. We need the buy amount, which now is no longer computed from here. And then we need the tip being passed in as well. Yeah. Good. Tip. What is that? What is that doing there? We just multiply it by the item quantity. And then get the buy amount, which is going to be sell value. Display item dot sell value. Okay, we're almost there. Now what is this? tc.target.get pickup point. This should just be the entities. Oh, I see. It's based on where the item came from. So this should just be start position then, right? Hey, Trackley. My favorite shirt introduction chatter. Too bad the spreadsheet fell by the wayside. Okay, so now pickup item needs to do practically all these same things. And we should probably just say item. And we should probably rename this now. Fine. What is this? It's like handle buying item. All right, so we're going to call this from over here and just break everything. All right, the item we want, that's probably all correct. And then the tip is going to be 0. And then delete all of that stuff. Okay, please work. Please work. Now I know every time you see my name, it's shirt time. You know what my biggest problem with these shirts? I fold the sleeve like right at the elbow, so sometimes it's here, and then I bend my elbow and it like rips the shirt. I've done this so many times. And I'm like, maybe people won't notice on the stream. This one I think is fine. But yeah, I've like thoroughly destroyed a couple of other shirts. And I think it's just a sign of shirt age because it doesn't seem to happen with newer shirts. But maybe my elbows are getting pointier with time. It's a forceful bend, yeah. All right. So what are we doing here? Now when we stack items, which we have, now when we stack items, they should actually use the stack quantity. Yep, nice. That's worth 9. And there are no problems, right? No. And what about crops? And what about, I guess let's just look at the crops. Yeah, good. And what about treasure? That wasn't as much treasure as I was hoping for. Nice. Okay. I click this. Anything weird happening? Doesn't look like it. Let's get a bunch of items on the ground. Wow, that's a lot of money. Yeah, that is a lot of money. No, thanks for the bits, Ember. Might be what I've been looking for, because my split kinesis connectivity issues drive me insane. Sometimes only the right side connects, or sometimes not at all. If you like the keyboard, though, I think just getting another one of those keyboards is probably a good idea. Like, I've been using this mouse for a very long time. It's a G600. And this is probably my third or fourth one of these mice. And now they stopped making them. So I'm out of luck. I gotta either pay a ton of money to get this specific mouse that people are selling on eBay or something, or I need to find another one that doesn't do exactly what I want. So yeah, if you were to get a keyboard like this, and especially one, this has 36 keys. So like the split kinesis has, I think it's full size. Yeah, I don't know which one you have exactly, but there are a lot more keys on it. So this would take some getting used to, although you can get this in a bunch of different form factors. So as an example, one of the keyboards I always link, if people want a keyboard that has more keys than mine, but is still split, like this, you're not really sacrificing on number of keys. I don't know how many that is. What, 4 by 6, so 48 plus another 10, so 58 keys. I mean, I guess you are still sacrificing on some keys. But in general, this is going to be more usable than the one that I have if you're just trying to replace a regular keyboard. The reason I say that, and I do suggest watching that video that printed out in the keyboard command, this one, but there is a learning curve here. So it's not just like sit down and type. It's like sit down and learn how to type with way fewer keys. Oh, no, it's okay. It's totally fine, Ember. I don't mind sharing this information. Plus, people ask me all the time. All right, so handle buying item. We could keep this inside of buy item. I think it's reasonable enough to keep this here. Let me just put this at the top. Okay, this is pretty reasonable. Everything's working. Huh. Okay, so let's set this back to the numbers it should have been. That looks good. Let's read the perk again and make sure it looks good. Employee discount. Your workers and adventurers have a chance to buy items that they pick up. Maybe it should say something like they'll pay what a customer would, but they won't tip. I don't think that's necessary. This stuff all looks good. In fact, this isn't even needed now. I think we only call sell value from one place, right? Yeah. So I think we should delete this. Right, this has one reference. Yes. Yeah, I'm going to delete this. I don't want this to exist here anymore. Sell value is that, and that's item value. Good. All right, so that should be even fewer changes now. Let's take a look. This is all good. That's good. That's good. That's not needed. That's also not needed. Hey, Catherine. How's how's Stack-A-Mole going? No, it's not called Stack-A-Mole. Thanks for the raid. It was nice to catch a bit of your stream yesterday. I appreciate that you'd raided me before. And I try to raid people back when I can. One of the weird things about raiding in general is it's like someone's end time matching with your stream time usually means that you can't raid them back. I don't know why I typed that out. Hey, Awk. Raid for raid. Yeah. Yeah, plus it's a nice way of seeing kind of who's out there in the community and what are they working on and how are they doing it. But yeah, it was neat to see what you were working on. It looked like it was in Figma based on what someone else had said. And what I know you said you made like 52 games and that you were aiming for 100. One of the things that always kind of blows my mind is when you make something for, let's say, like 12 months, and then someone says, this could use another year or two in the oven. I've seen this as comments on Steam reviews. I've heard of people talking about this, but it's somewhat accurate when people say it. Like a lot of times it's like, oh yeah, this doesn't meet what gamer expectations might be. Anyway, I'm not trying to say that about your current thing, and it sounds like you're in the early stages anyway. What I'm getting at, though, is I think if you've made many small games over the course of whatever it is, 6 months, 8 months, that it is going to be a little bit of an adjustment going to making like a feature length game, I guess I would say. But I think it's also a fun process. And I wish you luck in it. This is looking pretty good. Yeah. But isn't there... Oh, no, I deleted that. Okay. Think about wireframing. Is AI helping with that at all? The like the connecting things? Because I think Figma added some AI feature. I'm not trying to say like, is your work AI? It's just, is there some aid from AI? It won't drop just the initial connection. Yeah, it could be. It's always hard to know when it's a hardware failure versus just a cable or something, which I guess is a different kind of hardware failure versus software. And it all depends on how old the keyboard is too. That might make me guess that it might be hardware failure. But hey, it's a good excuse to buy one of these if you want. All right, let's continue game. Learn new skills, have new challenges. Yeah, and you will almost certainly learn a ton doing that. Do workers still have this ability? I think they do. They do. It just doesn't show in the UI anymore because I got rid of it. But if I start a new game, it shouldn't be possible to get this. Probably is. I don't use AI tools. Oh, okay. Yeah. I was going to say, I don't tend to rely on AI, but I like it for speeding up my workflow. Yeah, so this is gone. And it should be... Whoops, I did not mean to click that. Wishlist my own game. Okay, it should be in here now, but it's probably going to take a long time to find it. So let's maybe try to go... Oh, nice. We got I'm always hungry. That's not the new perk, though. The new perk is... What's it called? Employee discount. So I'm going to try to find it. Let's click through all these other ones. Yeah, it's going to probably take forever. We have a few rerolls now, so I guess I can use those. I also could make this a lot easier on myself and not do things this way. All right, well now I'm all in. Now we're gonna find this thing. I'm out of money. Reroll. Oh, there it is. Nice employee discount. Okay, so let's get that. And then let's go get a bunch of items. And I'm gonna only add a few workers, and I want to see what does 6% feel like. Because so far they have not sold an item. Still no. Or not bought an item, I mean. Still no. It should have, In the real game, it should hopefully work out to like once per minute at the lowest level. And it's just a way of cutting some of the items out of the pool, but I wonder if it's not strong enough. Yeah, 6% seems pretty rare. We'll need to play a real run to see what this... Yeah, there. We just got our first sale like that. So they bought one for 4 gold. So if I had another few workers, there's another one. Huh. 10-2 clock watch face thing? What is that? I've never heard that as a frame of reference. What is that referring to? Can I get the next level of this? Because I wonder if we should buff this before I check it in. There it is. Employee discount, 12%. Okay, now let's try. We're going to get a few items. So that one bought 1 item. I'm not... This is always a little bit weird to explain. Like, I get that the percentage is probably correct. I just want to see what it feels like. Like, how many of my workers go up to an item before they actually buy it? And yeah, 6% felt pretty low. But I think let's start with this and just see how it is. Google AI 10-2 clock face. I don't know what I'm supposed to be seeing here. New to game dev, but not dev in general. I notice you never have Godot on stream, always VS Code your notes. Is that normal? How's the ratio of just coding versus Godot clicky stuff? I think it depends on the developer. I tend to do a lot of stuff outside of the Godot engine unless it's UI. So like UI in Godot is something I enjoy. UI through code is only when it's like super dynamic stuff that I need to do. So for example, if you were to look at what the player ability tree looks like in Godot, this is what it looks like. It's blank. There's a title at the top. You can't really read it because there's a gray background. There's a title and there's a horizontal rule there, but that's it. Like the perks are all added in at runtime. So even that you can't really look at in the editor. But some people like doing that. Some people like having these placeholders in the editor or something. And yeah, so I tend to do a sort of coding first approach. Okay, gotcha. I see. Yeah. Yeah, my AI use is mostly, I'm using Copilot, and it's mostly like smart autocomplete. So every once in a while, it's going to type in an item or a line of code. Maybe I do something like item dot whatever. And it's like, oh, maybe you want to dispose the item right now. And I might hit tab and then just complete it. It's like, it just saves me some typing. C# Godot devs often use VS Code. I think the question is more like, why is it that the editor is open more often? Sorry, yeah, why is VS Code open more often than Godot? And I think you will see some game developers with the engine open more often than the editor. And then maybe what Oxpot's getting at is that some people code right from the engine. So like you can have an editor show up at the bottom panel here, I guess, or at the top. Just do something like this. And I just don't do that. All right, so this is looking good. Add employee discount perk. All right, so this one's done. This one's done. Cool. Next up is magical farming. While you have an enchanter spell active, crops grow faster. Could be that the chef slime is antsy to cook. It just doesn't make sense why the enchanter would induce that. I gotta think of a name for this. Because magical farming sounds dumb. What should we call this instead? Or should we just augment a spell? Actually, I didn't think about that. So we have 3 spells right now. We have shopping spree, which is workers move faster. We have, or no, is that what it's called? Stocking frenzy? No, this is, it's called stocking frenzy. And this is customers move faster. And then we have loot magnet, which is plus X% chance to double items. Anyway, I mentioned that for shopping spree, we could have a perk that says grant a chance to like auto sell items in shops. Is it in shops? Yeah. So stocking frenzy could be a perk here, like crops grow faster. I don't think it makes sense for stocking frenzy. I think we might add a 4th spell that's something like fake potions. Like fill the extractor with magical potions that will produce seeds and fish. This would make more sense for this to have the perk, the crops grow faster as well. In fact, that makes a lot more sense, to the point where we should probably come up with something that workers would do here as a perk. Maybe if you have employee discount, we could say as a perk here that there's a higher chance to trigger it. That could be really interesting. Game download link, it is right there. By the way, that's for the demo, just to be clear here. So the demo is about 2 hours of gameplay, but it is not the stuff I'm working on. So you see me talking about perks and all of this, that is for challenge mode. So that's what mode we're in right now. So whenever you see me like, oh, there's a perk choice here, or I upgrade an adventurer this way, it's like this stuff's all in challenge mode. What the demo has is just story mode and quick game. So there's no challenge mode. Okay, I really like this idea. And I think this should augment the new spell. Note, this should augment the spell that I haven't added yet, which adds potions to the extractor, which like creates potions to add to the extractor. Lab grown potions. It's magic, so it's not really lab grown. And I don't know what we call it, but it's probably going to be like, I don't know. I want to call it something like pseudo potions, but I'm not sold on that. All right, well, wait. If we're going to do this, so if Shopping Spree is going to have a spell or a perk that enhances it, then shouldn't Stocking Frenzy as well? So this will go down here. Maybe we have a perk that's only offered if you have employee discount, which says double the chance to trigger employee discount. I don't like the amount of overlap there is between this and this. So I think that's a bad idea. I wonder if we could duplicate an item in the warehouse. When you click loot magnet. I think that could be cool. I'm going to write that down. Perk loot duplication. When casting loot magnet, duplicate X items in the warehouse. Or on the ground? Just in the warehouse? Or on the ground? Yeah. Bow potions. That's pretty good. I like that a lot. Okay, so we don't have one for Stocking Frenzy. What would it be? So the whole point of the customer spell is get rid of items. The whole point of Stocking Frenzy was move items to the shops. I'm not sure about that. Hey, let's go. Welcome in. I guess in either case, it's that you have too many items and it's just where do you have too many items? Maybe this auto sell from the shop should be while Shopping Spree is active, a customer will sometimes buy multiple items at once. Okay, that's probably better. Although this is kind of interesting too. I kind of like having a duration thing and then a cast time thing. Alternatively, while Shopping Spree is active, customers sometimes buy multiple items at once from a shop. Problem is this requires them to be in the shops. And I guess it's what happens if you have a small number of customers. Are these potions or spells as you cast them? So I'll show you what they are in the game. Let's go into this mode and click new. So you can unlock the enchanter, and the enchanter has 3 spells that take mana. So like this is plus customer speed, plus worker speed, and plus chance of finding items. So they were all meant to shore up different parts of your item throughput. So if you don't have items, click this one. If you have too many in your warehouse or on the ground, click this one. And if you have too many in your shops, click this one. And now we're coming up with like what other ideas could be here for spells. And I think this is good. I think both of these are good. I think this is really cool. But this is on cast and not just a persistent thing. So I think having this be an on cast could also be kind of interesting. Maybe it only pulls from the shop. Or maybe it teleports customers to an item. That would look kind of weird. I think any of that would look kind of weird though. Maybe it gives them like a... Maybe it instructs customers to immediately go buy something. You can only one at a time? No, you can cast multiple. As long as you have enough mana. So if I just give myself enough mana here, I can't get more than that. Let me do that. Okay, so now I have 1,000 mana. So I can click this and this one if I wanted to. And I'm eventually going to add in a 4th spell. So there'd be a reason to get even more mana than that. Please try to watch segmenting in this chat. Maybe one about enticing the customer. So what we've been talking about is just like auto selling stuff. Customers just exist as vehicles to purchase things. So if we just sold things for you, you wouldn't need to entice the customers more. I kind of wonder though, what would we do if we were to... We had an on-cast ability for the worker spell. What would it look like? You know what would be really powerful is like X% chance to spawn a new worker when you cast the spell. I don't like this idea at all because it would have to be a very low number, in which case you'd almost never see it happen. We could say you get an extra worker for the duration of the spell. But the problem with this, or maybe, maybe it harvests all of your crops. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Yeah, it is kind of interesting. I like that idea. Perk. Although, why would you take this if we're also going to have auto harvest? Maybe this is just kind of, it's more inefficient and this one's a little bit better. This would probably have to be like an all or nothing thing though. So magical harvesting, I don't know, something like that. When casting Stocking Frenzy, all farm crops are immediately harvested. Something like that. A farm drone. Bonus value when workers use grinders as a harvest for the duration or just once. So I was thinking I want a bunch of just once effect. So it would be just once, which could potentially save you upwards of 25 clicks, but probably just 5 clicks for some time. And you might not have all the mature crops anyway. But it's a way of giving your workers like they have less they need to do. And I like the idea a little bit. This has some other synergies that are kind of interesting too. So entropic magic says chance to cast multiple spells. So now if every spell has an on-cast effect or an on-cast perk as well, then this perk becomes even better. So now you might just have auto casting enabled for this. So it casts Loot Magnet, which also forces Stocking Frenzy to get cast, which then triggers harvesting your entire farm. So now all these carrots get taken at once. And then the bonus of this would duplicate some items in your warehouse. And then since your workers are moving faster, they have to go get those items from the warehouse. They might buy them on the way over if you have employee discount. So this is where we're starting to get some synergies showing up that are hopefully going to be interesting. Does it pick a second cast at random? Auto cast right now is just you select something and it'll auto cast out when you have the mana. And then entropic magic is what makes it pick a different spell sometimes. And then yes, that one will be at random. So if I let this run out, it's going to auto cast again, and this time it casts this and this one. But next time around, it just casts this. And then next time around it casts, yeah, these two again. Yeah. How about withering some crops for selling the surviving crops higher? I don't want to frame these things as negatives. These are all perks that we have. Yeah, the game is very casual and laid back. So anything where it's like, oh, hey, something bad happened, I think feels even worse in this game. It's like if you see blood and guts in Mortal Kombat, you're like, oh, that's part of Mortal Kombat. But if you're playing Animal Crossing and you saw it, you'd be like, what? Like, what's going on in this game? It would stand out even more because of the tone of the game. I think we need an Animal Crossing Mortal Kombat crossover. We need Isabel doing a fatality. God. I can't imagine if I were the person in charge of the Animal Crossing just brand that I'd be like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do that. Maybe don't. Nah, I don't know. I kind of like this. Loot duplication. When casting loot magnet, duplicate X items in the warehouse or on the ground. Magical farming. So we should really add in that spell. Add another spell for, what was it? Faux potions. Maybe this should just go into the base game. It's certainly easier to do that. Auto harvest, shot specific item stacking, stronger hires, supercharge. I don't think we need to do this. I like all of these except for maybe this one. How often would people actually take this one? So like, let's say you have 5 adventurers. And I don't know, you've been funneling them, and so they're like level 5, level 3, level 3, level 2, and there's a level 1. How many perks would we have to give the level 1 before you'd be like, yes, I want that? So a way that I think we could make this desirable is if we say, give X level ups to your lowest level adventurer, where X is equal to your highest level so far. So in this case, you're like, I phrase this kind of stupidly, but basically like your level 1 becomes your level 5. So this is -1. It's pretty much just bring your lowest level adventurer to the level of your highest level adventurer. I think that would make it more appealing. I think just giving them some random number is not bad. Like if we just say your lowest one always gets 3, that still brings them to level 4. And that still makes them more powerful. I don't know. I kind of like this. I think let's just try it and see what happens. By the way, let's go. There is a demo of the game if you want to try that out. Because I think gauging whether or not this is overpowered is very much based on having played the game. Because there are probably a lot of games out there where you could give someone like 100 level ups and not even feel a difference. And then there are games you can give 1 level up and feel a huge difference. So I think understanding how that gauge works for this sort of game would be helpful. All right, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But this isn't actually a perk. Did I count that? I don't know. 8 or 9. What time is it? It's 11:33. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. Let's try to get one more perk in right now, maybe. And then probably get lunch, and then try to code as many of these in the afternoon, and then test it out. I think that'd be good. All right, so which one sounds like it's the most fun? Let's just do this one. I think this is kind of cool. Magical harvesting. So what do we call this? What's better than magical harvesting? So stocking frenzy is making your workers move faster. We could call it farming frenzy. I think it's pretty good. Except for... And also, if this is not interesting enough, we could say Any crops harvested this way get bonus value. This isn't strong enough. We can say any crops harvested this way get bonus sludge value. I like that. I like that a lot. And I think Farming Frenzy is a pretty good name. Okay, so let's go make it. Farming Frenzy. This requires that you have the farm. No, it requires that you have the enchanter. Technically, it requires 2 buildings. But let's say the enchanter. I think that's a more important one. All right, so I think this should just maybe only have 1 level. This could actually be a generated ability, which generates it with a buff. But will the other ones do that? What do the other ones do? X items. It's just how much are you going to buff your on-cast stuff, especially if you don't have mana? Will they be interesting? But if I only put 1 level for each of them, Let me think about this. Should this be a generated ability? Then we could change the crop value. No, I don't think so. It's just not a very impactful ability. And I don't think if you had more levels that you'd be like, oh my God, I'm super excited to take that. I think this is just like a nice little benefit. Yeah, so I think we delete this. We just say the max level is 1. I delete this probably too. And then we say return messages.get description. Okay, so this is called Farming Frenzy. Casting the Stalking Frenzy spell causes all mature crops to be harvested. Any crops harvested this way grant bonus more sludge. Wisdom sludge. Stalking Frenzy display name. Okay. All right, so Stalking Frenzy display name. Where do we even get that from? Here it is. Spell data, all spell data. All spell data.get. Spell id.worker.display name. Okay, nice. And then bonus is going to be, I guess we just make this a static thing somewhere. Do Godot devs in large project use C# over GDScript? No, I think it's just a preference thing. I don't think the size of the project necessarily matters. But I don't have a lot of, like a large sample size. It's just my suspicion that that's the case. All right, bonus. What are we setting this to? What's a reasonable amount? Double, maybe? That could be very powerful. Public const float bonus sludge value equals 1F. Bonus is going to be, how do we do this? BB code functions format number. 0. There. That's what I want. All right. Now let's plug this into the enchanter perks, I guess, for now. So I haven't coded it yet, but this is just going to let us look at the tooltip. So it's not possible that this works yet. But I like looking at it in the game to just see, does it make sense? Does it look good? All right, so here it is. Farming Frenzy. Casting the Stocking Frenzy spell causes all mature crops to be harvested. Any crops harvested this way grant 100% more Wisdom Sludge. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Okay. So now, when you cast the spell, so there's the Worker spell book. Where do we cast a spell? Spell just cast or expired. I want to know when you just cast it, though. Not when you... Oh, there it is. Cast random inactive spell. Cast spell. Got it. All right, what does this call? Nothing. What? Yeah, what? What calls this, then? Where'd that even go? On spell expired. Cast spell. Oh, here it is. Ah, I see. Okay, so we need to know which spell you cast. And we don't have a way of doing that right now. Yeah, we don't have a way of doing that. So I think we need an event from here that then the enchanter listens to for spell was cast. Spell was cast. And then we put that in. Well, let me fix that. Spell cast spell. Cool. Set this here. Invoke with this. Good. And then the enchanter den, we're going to do spell was cast on spell cast. Okay. So now what we can do in this is we can say if the spell book's ID is equal to the worker spell and you... Do we have the town? We must have the town. Yeah, there it is. And town.playerabilities has unlocked Farming Frenzy. Then we need to do town, and I guess if you have the farm. Then town.farm.cast Farming Frenzy. And ideally, we do this through... Like right now, I've coupled this to the Enchanter's Den, which I don't like, but I also don't really care too much about right now. Okay. So now let's put this in here somewhere. All right, so we know for sure that you have this. So what we need to do is to do harvest all crops, but at an increased sludge rate. Is your game updating live as you type the code? No, it's not, but that is possible. That's called hot reloading. And in GDScript, it's much easier than in C#. I've tried it with C# before, and it's just unreliable, at least for me. I need a soldering kit now. Thanks, I think. I like it a lot. I will also say I messed up the soldering on mine so that the LEDs only work on the left half of the keyboard. So if I type them on the right half, it doesn't work. And if I like bend the PCB, it works a little bit, but it's not consistent. And I really, really like how these LEDs look. So it's a shame that it doesn't work on both halves. If I bring this a little bit closer to the camera, you can see, oh, sorry, hang on, this is very hard to do. The color actually changes as I continue typing on it. So right now it's like kind of pink, but it's getting a little bit more red. Now it's red. And it's gonna go back to purple. It's just so cool. But yeah. What is going on? Huh. There. Okay, so the increased sludge rate we can't easily do. Harvesting every single crop we can do, though. Where's that? Where is it? Isn't there a manual harvest? On harvested crop? And where is this called from? On crop harvested. Plant crop dot harvested. How do we invoke this? Harvest. Here it is. So just call harvest on every single crop that we have. And pass in the action. Yeah, it sounds easy enough. For each. Oh, that was dead simple. Okay. I was going to code that myself, but it got it for me. All right, so now the problem is that we don't have a way of having this give bonus wisdom sludge. Harvested calls into this, which calls into this, which is listened from here. Is occupied and the crop is ready for harvest. Don't we need to do this? That's all firmware on keyboard. Is it controlled by software on connected device? So the LEDs are controlled by firmware, but then you need to have soldered them correctly for them to actually be able to light up. So like I broke it somehow. I don't know how. I don't know how to fix it. And I'm just, yeah, just never going to have them working again probably. What if you had a little Easter egg for inputting the Konami code? I feel weird about Easter eggs in the day and age of the internet. Like, if you played a Super Nintendo game and you found out about a code, you probably found out about it through like a friend or a magazine or something. And how many people just never knew about them? But nowadays, you could just type in like Skeleseller Easter eggs and you'd be like, here's a list of all of them. In fact, GameFAQs has been doing that forever. If you type whatever, GameFAQs, it's a game that I know has a Konami code. I guess, I don't know, Contra or something. And we click this and click cheats. It's like, oh, here are all the Easter eggs you might have found. And I just think that kind of diminishes their excitement value. What I like a little bit more are Easter eggs that the players sort of expected to discover. Like, what if in a game you could pet a dog or a cat and it gives you a treasure or something like that? And it's like, oh, well, it's natural that people might want to go pet an animal in a game. So you give them a little reward and it's like, oh, that's nice. Okay, yeah. It's not like crucial to the game. They'll probably discover it on their own. Occupied and is ready for harvest. Yep, cool. Okay, so how does the chef slime get this? Oh, it goes in automatically, but I still don't know how that happens. Modify wisdom sludge. Set sludge. Cook item. Here it is. So where's that called? Drop off item. Do we call drop off from over here? I still don't know where this actually happens. I can't find it. I guess manually harvesting is probably what does this. Oh. Yeah. Oh, man. It's not technically going to be correct, is it? Yeah, no, it's not. And where's that called from? Invoke this with a crop. So I just need to change whatever I did here. Instead of auto harvest, it'll be manual harvest, which is, again, not technically correct. But then this is going to invoke. Okay, let's just try this out. Let's see what happens. Yeah. So I did not give the bonus wisdom sludge yet. I need to figure out how to do that. But it should auto harvest the crops. So I'm going to try it without and then try it with. So we're going to make this and we're going to make that. And we're going to cast Stocking Frenzy when we have a bunch of crops. In fact, let's make the farm a lot bigger. There. Okay. So there's that. And now we're going to cast Stocking Frenzy and nothing should happen. Well, the workers got faster. But now we go get our new perk. And I guess wait for the spell to run out. How much more time does it have? 1 second. Okay. Then we plant all our crops and click the spell. And it harvested all of them. Nice. It should only harvest mature ones. So let's see what happens when I let this run out again. And we just have some planted. And I click this. Nice. So basically nothing happened. So all that's working except that it doesn't give you extra wisdom sludge. And here's what I'm thinking of. So like option 1 that we could do is like set a flag for the chef slime to multiply the value incoming for a bit. And then unset that flag. Option 2 would be pass a bonus sludge value alongside the crop. I guess it's not that hard to do, is it? I think this is like a slightly nicer way of doing it. It's less hacky. So let's see how that would work. We call manual harvest, which comes from over here. There should be an action for that. There it is. That is what? Only in 2 places? It's only in 1 place. Oh, because of this. I see. So we invoke it with a crop, and then we need to know, was this spell active? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about this. I'm debating. Would you get this perk if it were just that change? Probably not. You'd probably want the bonus sludge as well. Yeah. There are other ways we can kind of accomplish this. We could convert the crop into a pumpkin. We could say that that's what the ability is doing. So you have a bunch of carrots or something and they turn into pumpkins anyway. This is not always going to double the sludge that you get. For carrots, it's actually going to be quintupling. And for pumpkins, it's going to be no effect because they're already pumpkins. And for everything else, it's at least doubling. So yeah, on average, it's going to be like a ×3, which is actually possibly more than we want. So I still need to figure out which one of these I want to do. So I guess the crop would keep track of whether it was harvested via this bonus value thing. Yeah, we would just pass in like bonus value. I don't know why I don't like this idea. Yeah. All right, fine. Let's do it. Let's at least see what it feels like. Put a task or feature or goal on screen so as people drop in, they generally know what you're trying to do. Might go against a clean full screen aesthetic you got going on. What I tend to do, I tend to have a ton of commands for things, and one of them is the today command. And there's a database of them that anyone can just go searching through if they want to see. So let's say you came in here and you didn't know what keyboard I use. There is a keyboard command, but you could also type it in here and I wouldn't know that you typed it in here. So you could go searching through like, what does my cat look like? And whatever, what is the game that I'm working on, or what mouse am I using, or what's my computer that I'm using, something like that. Or just scroll through and see whatever random stuff you find. Also, I do want to encourage some interactivity. I don't mind if new people come in and ask, what are you working on? I think generally there's a lot of context that's needed for some of this stuff. Like imagine if you're brand new and I tell you, oh, I'm working on perks, they'd be like, for what game though? And then I have to be like, okay, here's what we're doing. Oh yeah, no worries, Ember. Yeah. No shirts command. I mean, there's a merch command, but I know what you're looking for. A spreadsheet. Hail, go dev. Good afternoon. All right, so we got to pass this multiplier now over here. Maybe like sludge multiplier is what we call it. Yeah, which means we invoke this thing with a float, which means that whatever listens for this needs to change. This is kind of why I didn't really want to do this. And then we do that, and then we change this. We put in a float over here, and then we listen for the thing where that is, which is on this, which takes in the sludge multiplier as well. So this is only actually used when you manually harvest a crop. Like the crop itself doesn't have this in there. So I guess we're putting this here. And that's not really manual anymore. That's the other problem. And now we get to the hard part of this, which is that when we call drop off item, we're going to take in an optional multiplier. I guess it's not really hard. It's just kind of annoying to do. Equals 1F. Does that even work? No overload takes 3 arguments. Well, now it does. And now when you cook the item, we pass in the multiplier. Guys, we plumb this through the entire thing. So if it has value, why would it not have value? Get the food value. Food value equals round it by the multiplier. Let's do math.ceiling. I think that's nicer to the player. And that's it. Now it should work. Now why is there a problem up here? Chef's line does not implement. Oh God, that's right. It was an interface that gave us that method. Well, I guess we could just, where'd that even go? Drop off item. I guess we could just make a version that calls the other version. Return drop off item that. Can't we just do that? No, it doesn't know that it's calling itself forever. Now why is this a problem? Overlaps the one, the default parameter can't be used. Oh, okay, sure. So now that needs to be put second, which means I got to go change the colors of this. Yeah, because the town calls into this. So now it's for the wrong ordering of arguments. Okay, now does it work? What do I have for lunch today? Error, harvest, no suitable method found to override. Oh no. No, we got to take in the sludge multiplier. I really like poisoned all of this. It's Mac. And then what? The parent class doesn't have this? It does. It's got to be set to be equal 1. And then isn't there another kind of crop? There were 2 kinds, right? Fruiting crop and whole harvest crop. So there's no override for harvest? Okay. Don't swallow errors. Don't produce errors in the first place. Then I'll have no lunch. All right, this is working. Let's go try it out. So normally a carrot would give us 2 sludge, but if I click this, they now give 2 sludge. I forgot to put the bonus in. Yeah, my bad. Let's go do that really fast. This is supposed to take in 2 right there. So we say float multiplier equals farming frenzy dot bonus plus 1. It'll work this time. It will work. Matt's boss would be happy. 4. Nice. What I missed? Not much. We coded... what is it called? We coded Farming Frenzy. Casting Stocking Frenzy spell causes all mature crops to be harvested. Any crops harvested this way grant 100% more Wisdom Sludge. So yeah, I like that. I think it's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. So now we put this as an enchanter perk. Farming Frenzy. And I guess delete this stuff. And then check this in. Looks good. Looks good. I don't like this. I don't like this. I wonder if I should change this and just do the hacky way. I don't like that though either. Hey, Sinistella. Did you sleep in? Are you feeling okay? Yeah, so I pass in this sludge multiplier thing all over the place. The alternative method that I had was this. We set a flag on the chef slime. So basically we would just do something like when casting Stocking Frenzy, if you have Farming Frenzy, set chef slime dot like give extra value equals true. Then harvest the crops and then immediately set chef slime dot give extra value equals false. That would be the other way we could do this. How long have I been coding for? I'm assuming you don't mean today, and then you just mean in general, in which case there's the answer for you. Welcome in, Cass. Couldn't sleep till 3 a.m. I knew it. Well, dare I ask what you were doing? So this would work. It would require the farm to be aware of the chef slime, and it isn't currently, but there's no problem for it to be aware of that. And it would involve me not poisoning as many piles as I did, but then we'd be coupling the farm to the slime, and right now it's not. So I don't know. It's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of another. As far as the purposes for this is another one of those things we'll just never touch again, probably. Spent it reading. My tummy hurted. Sorry to hear that. About the reading, of course. That was a dumb joke. Speaking of reading, I've been trying to read. So I started up Game of Thrones. And normally I would crank this up to like 2.5x speed. And this time around, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to listen at 1x speed. And up until yesterday, I've been good about the second part. I was trying to listen in chunks of chapters. So like I wouldn't just read 3 pages and then stop. I would listen to the whole chapter. But yesterday I messed that up. But it's kind of interesting. The 1x thing was to purposely try to slow myself down. Like normally I feel like I'm trying to speed run life. And that's probably not a good thing. All right, so what do we have here? If the ID is the worker spell and you've unlocked this. Yeah. Okay, the code for the rest of this stuff looks good. I'm not sure how I feel about this thing either. Have you ever engaged in ethical hacking? In like very minor ways, to the point where the answer might as well be no. So yeah. Missing all the beauty in those performances. So the thing is, I'm probably missing something when I listen at very fast speeds, but I listened for enjoyment and my enjoyment is still there. So I guess it's like, imagine if you read the deepest poetry you could possibly read and you come out of it thinking like, haha, it talked about a furry cat or something like that. It's like, you might have still enjoyed it. You might have missed completely what the meaning is. But if all you're doing is to try to pass some time and be entertained, it could still work. It's a story through the perspective of a horse, huh? I haven't heard of that. All right, so the issue that I have here is that we have on spellcast, but then we also have spell just cast or expired. And I don't like that we're manually calling this apparently. Yeah, so cast spell should call this. Is it safe to call this many times? It is. Yeah, but still. I don't like this idea being here. I think spell cast. Should put this here. And now where's the other call that we do? Here. Okay, that's slightly cleaner. I think I like that. Okay, let's test it one more time. Then I should probably get lunch. So we load up our existing game, and I should be able to see workers move faster when I click this button. Yes. And then when it ends, I should see them move slower. So let's speed this up a bit. All right, it's got 13 seconds left. Speed it up a little bit longer. It's got 8 seconds left. Speed up a little bit longer. Okay, so in 4 seconds, we should see them move slower. Good. And then same thing for customers. I don't know, the mana. Yep, customers move faster. Okay, so I'm going to assume this stuff is working. And then the only other thing to do is try it with crops. I'll harvest a couple of these and then replant some basic ones and then do that. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, I've looked through this a million times now. So add farming frenzy perk. Oh, the only place I didn't check was this, but I've already added this here. Nice. Yeah, but did he talk to any horses for the book? I don't think so. All right, we're done with this. So what have I done? I've added 3 perks so far, and I've been streaming for 3 hours and 37 minutes. And what was I hoping for? So what does that work out to? 217 minutes divided by 3. It's taking me 72 minutes per perk. Is that true? Haven't I done something else? I guess I fixed the tutorial stuff. That took some time. And I designed these. That took some time. So maybe the average is a little closer to 45 minutes per perk. I don't know. Anyway, here's the plan for the afternoon. And I should probably write this down so I don't forget myself. Afternoon. Add perks until there's like 1 hour remaining. Then playtest and see if all the new stuff is fun. We can fill out the journal now. Worked on adding new perks. Yeah, that's it. Easy peasy. Okay, so what time is it? 12:07. Yeah, I'm gonna go get lunch. I'll be back by probably about like 1:10. I think we'll probably stream until 3:30 or so. What black box? Feeling sad, give me offers later so I can move to your country and help you build whatever you're building. Feeling sad about what? Yeah, anyway, I'm gonna go get lunch. So for anyone who's new here and wanted to check out the game, there is a link to the Steam page. It's got the demo. I'm hoping for the people who want to play test it that we can get a new version out by the end of Friday. I think it's maybe doable. But I'll have to put in a lot of work in the next couple of days. That I'm coding alone? Oh, I'm not. I mean, like, I'm coding alone right now, I guess, but there have been other people who've coded on Skeleseller. Anyway, I will go get lunch and I'll be back in a bit. Live on Steam too? Yeah, live on Steam, except for I don't actually pay attention to Steam chat. I'm also live on YouTube, and I do have YouTube chat open, but no one types there because I don't want people typing there. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I will be back in about an hour. I'm going to go get lunch. See ya.